and welcome everybody to another State of the Onion. This week, of course, it is BelieveEvolution a fact? Of course, we know the answer, but we are going to treat it like we don't, at least for 10 minutes or so until we can't be bothered to keep up the charade. And then, and then we'll just talk about the actual science of it and how fantastic it is to be in this modern world where we can understand exactly how the diversification of life happened.
Thought it was a charade. Isn't it a charade over there?
Charade?
Charade?
No.
Charade, charades, tomato.
German way to say it.
I don't know what you're talking about. You say Tractatus, I say Tractatus. Yeah, that's a philosophy
And I
joke.
say
It's
pardon?
my Wittgenstein philosophy joke.
And I wanted to
Anyway.
say real quick, thanks
200
everybody.
bucks, that one.
Thanks everybody for joining last night. We had a great stream. A lot of people stopped by. I really appreciate all the birthday wishes and all you great folks that stopped through. Thank you very much.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy late birthday.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I was there, so I said happy birthday, but I'll say it again. Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
And so yeah, that's basically it. Unfortunately, we don't have any actual creationists on the program, which is unfortunate. But there you go. Of course, they can't defend their worldview anyway, so it makes little difference, I feel. But instead of that, we have Brian.
Yeah, you're going to
so-
pick on me instead, aren't you?
Yeah, Brian is forever. I mean, he's as good as a creationist, really, I feel. After all, you were created, Brian, or you have some creation.
Well, yeah, I am creative. I don't know if
You're
that helps.
creative. There we go. That's so close in the English language as to not matter, I feel. At least
It
that's,
might as well be, yes.
that's the
Yeah,
level
that's
of
fine.
argument we're going to get from the
I mean,
creationists.
Exactly.
I'd also welcome Mike to the studio for The Onion. Welcome, Speed of Sound.
Hello.
Thank you. Great. Always to the point, and he's going to be our to the point man. Ella MNOP, as we've worked out. Thank you, Dave, for that.
Oh,
It's
that's
just LMNOP. Like it's just.
That's how that
That's a
works.
great name.
Well,
It's,
now
it is. It is.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Welcome to Fabio.
Hey, hello.
Sorry, Fabio. Something wrong with your mic.
Is it?
Yeah, you're coming
No.
through very Italian.
Oh,
loud.
fuck
I was
off.
going to make that joke.
Thank you so much. Welcome back from the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
Lovely to have you back. Looking forward to the Dutch Grand Prix this weekend.
Yeah.
Weather looks like it's going to be fantastic.
I mean,
and
to be honest, after seeing those guys, I mean the F1 is gonna be like watching people in an office typing on a news writer. So yeah.
welcome to. I'm going to say hi to the chat as well. So welcome to Tilting. Tomorrow is now today, but only when it's yesterday. Thank you, Tilting. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a great mod as well. Really appreciate that. Lyrics is here. Good afternoon, Lyrics. There is a link at the top of the chat. If you want to join, you'd be more than welcome, of course. Getting the old band back together with Serb here. Mayor, thank you, Mayor, for coming by. I really appreciate that. Was Fabio naked? Fabio
Mostly.
was always. He's Italian. At some point, he's bound to have been naked.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And he's always naked under his clothes.
Well, some say that, but
Listen, I can be naked for the right amount of money. So I mean, if you guys wanna raise something, yeah, I can
feel
end
like
up.
usually when we see you naked on stream, you're much furrier. So that's why I said that you've lost your tan in the chat.
Hey,
But-
Simos is getting the subs. He's going to be up there pretty
Yeah.
soon. So,
okay.
way to go.
That's not going to make any difference, guys. We're not monetizing, regardless of what number we get to.
Well, listen, I mean, this stream is going to become an OnlyFans thing, really quick. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Mayor says, "Oh right, Italian. He's too sexy for his clothes. He's too sexy.
Yeah.
Oh."
We get you up to
Uh, and Dave says, "Hello, everybody. Thank you so much." Okay, so onwards with the topic, right? It's evolution, evolution. How can that be true? Surely that's just made up stuff. I don't have Mike. I don't have enough faith to believe evolution. Do you?
No, I don't. No.
Okay, and that means what exactly?
Well, I have to figure out how it works and be able to get a really good idea of how it works in order to believe in it. I wouldn't believe it just because somebody said to believe it, right?
Oh,
Or
okay.
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So you're saying even if Darwin said you must believe this, you
I
wouldn't
don't-
believe it then?
I don't know who the hell Darwin was or is, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't know anybody from the 19th century, and I know very few people from the 20th. So,
Well, he's
Yeah,
not around. He's not around for you to ask today. So anything you might, come up with is just conjecture anyway. So
Oh,
yeah.
sorry,
I
I have
wouldn't
an
date-
important message from our sponsor, Spooky Bed Hair. Our sponsor. Where was my shout out? I'm sorry, Spooky. I thought I'd already done it because I normally
no.
do you first. But there we go. And just to shout out, ciao, Spooky Bed Hair. You even get it in Italian, so there we go.
Yeah.
And Spooky says, "Hi, young Fabio."
Wow. Okay. Now is my personal hero from this evening on. Yeah.
Blake A says, "Do you believe that washing your hands with soap prevents infections?" Let's throw that over to somebody different. I feel. I don't know, Ella. Do you think that washing your hands with soap prevents infections?
That's what I was taught, and that is what I believe to be the case based on the evidence that I've seen.
Okay, and when you say based on evidence, that's controversial in itself.
Ooh, is it?
How's
first,
the-
I'd like to see the evidence that that it's not washing your hands that causes infections. I'd like to see
Ooh.
that claim.
I'll tell you, it doesn't take much. My son nicked his knuckle at work, and he ended up having to get a round of antibiotics because his whole hand swelled up. So it's nothing to mess with.
Howdy, Halsey. Very good to have you here. Thank you so much.
I will say in my own life that, yeah, typically if I get a cut and wash it, it usually heals a lot better than if I don't, if I just ignore it.
Blake
Yeah.
A makes the exact comment that I was thinking.
Yeah.
Have you seen the bacteria firsthand?
I have not. I cannot say definitively that it kills bacteria. I just believe that to be the case.
Because
Nice.
somebody told you that that's what it was?
Because of the molecule episode of Magic School Bus, and because of my pediatrician and how he told me, actually his specific thing was that you don't necessarily need to kill all the germs if you're just going to wash them down the drain. You don't necessarily need antibacterial hand soap. You just need to fucking wash your hands.
Okay, so because he told you and you saw it on the TV show.
And because of like the science experiments that we did in third grade, where like we learned about like the viscosity of soap and how like it like removes and how like things will like attract to it and shit like
But
that.
how
Like,
does the viscosity test show bacteria deaths?
here's the thing is that I have seen like enough small bits of evidence to make me believe that these experts are indeed smarter and more knowledgeable on these topics than I am. And therefore I default to their position.
So
for you.
because you're not smart enough to work it out for yourself, you go with somebody who professes to know more about the subject than you do.
Imagine that.
When they can show me demonstrable evidence that what they are saying is
But if you
correct.
don't understand it, how do you understand the evidence that they present?
I don't
to you?
remember understanding it, but I do believe that I understood most of it when it was explained to me. Here's the thing, not all that shit's going to still stay in my brain, all right? There's a finite amount of space up there, and unfortunately there's a good percentage of it that is like will always be occupied by Disney lyrics from my childhood, no matter how much I try to like fix it for something
Okay,
else.
so
But I'm not going to remember all of those details. Sorry, my brain just doesn't work like that. But
you're prepared to take it on faith for the gaps in your knowledge.
yes,
Well, there we
Yes.
go. We have it. We have it. Confessed,
give you.
admitted, period, done.
yeah,
You're believing on the faith in somebody else.
yes.
Oh.
I have faith
There
in
you go.
evolution. Yeah, if you want
There
to
you
go
go.
like strictly with my own personal experience, yes, I personally have faith in evolution. That doesn't mean that I think that it's a religion. But
Yeah, but I didn't say anything about it being a religion. We can get to that later if you want
Sure.
to. But
I'd have no
for
problem
now,
with that
you're
argument.
just
Yeah.
you literally just confessed that you believe in it because somebody told you, and they
Mostly,
profess
yeah.
to be more intelligent or knowledgeable in that area than you.
Absolutely. When it comes to evolution, like I don't know much about like biology and that area
Okay.
of science. Not my
And would you say
expertise.
would
There's
you
a lot
say
of
that
people who
you
have done a lot more schooling and learned a lot more than I have.
would you say that you were typical?
Actually, I would like to say that I'm typical. I would say actually that I probably know more than most typical Americans, unfortunately.
Okay, so if you're taking it on faith, then what's everybody else taking it on?
Faith, yeah.
There you go. QED. And I know that sounds strange coming from a cremationalist like myself, but there you go.
Here's the thing. I also don't see a problem with that.
I don't see a problem with religion being demonstrated either. If you
Yeah.
can demonstrate it, then sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even though I'm supposed to be on Brian's side, I'm going to say showing an atheist being stupid about evolution doesn't do anything about evolution.
Traitor.
I will fully admit that I am stupid when it comes to evolution. Like being smart about evolution isn't a necessity for like believing that evolution is the truth.
Yeah. I got
And
a couple.
most people are not scientists. I mean, we
Right.
go about our lives doing our things, and we're not scientists, so we do rely on the scientists for some of our information.
Okay, that's interesting. So I've just put a link in chat and also in the description for a Hungarian doctor named Ignaz Semmelweis, and he is the gentleman, as it says here, in 1846, that thought it would be a good idea and showed that it was in fact a good idea to wash your hands, especially before surgery, I guess. And it also and also for women to do it before
What was
handling
that
their
year?
children.
Yeah.
1846.
Yeah, isn't that the
Yeah.
guy that
Oh.
got like put in an asylum for being crazy?
I think
Yeah.
later in his
Yeah.
life, I think he went a bit mad, but
And
I
I was
haven't.
They
I
did
haven't
not
seen the
believe
thing.
him about the hand washing thing. Like,
Yeah,
they
did.
and
straight
I
up
was
did
under
not
the
believe him.
impression
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
sure.
it
Yes, your
wasn't
crazy man says wash your hands.
It
Yeah.
wasn't until World War One
It wasn't
and
until
the efforts
later.
of Florence Nightingale that washing hands actually became a thing.
Yeah. And it was like, wasn't it that he
Hello,
worked in like a
Bond.
maternity ward? If I remember correctly, it was like he worked in a maternity ward, and like
Yeah.
over lunch they would go do like whatever with the cadavers. And he found that like the mortality rates, like there were like women in the afternoon were like dying in droves of like these
What?
bacterial infections and stuff. And once he like asked the doctors working with him to like wash their hands before coming back to work, then it evened out. What do you know?
That may have been what how he figured it out, but there was a broader problem. It used to be called postpartum fever. And that's actually how he proved it, or tried to prove it for the wider community, that if you washed your hands after birth, women had a much lower rate of postpartum fever.
Also called
That makes
per
sense.
per per pearl. fever.
Yeah.
Or childbed fever.
Can I just
See,
say?
but how do we know that that happened? Because somebody fucking told us. You know what I mean?
But yeah, Sandy makes a very good point. Sorry, Fab, I'll let you jump in a second. But Sandy makes a very good point. What does hand washing have to do with evolution? I'd say not a damn thing.
Yeah.
Well,
just science. Just science.
I actually have two anti-evolution arguments. I'm just waiting.
We'll get to them. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I just want to invite. I just want to
the
invite
biology
Blake.
realm.
I just want to invite Blake A. If you do want to come in and argue any of these points, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, please do.
We will definitely give you the time to speak. Go ahead, Fabio.
Cerberus.
No, I just want to nitpick on something that Dave said before. It's not really important, but he said, we have to. I can't remember. He said we have to rely or listen to scientists. I would say we have to rely and or listen to the scientific process, because we've had plenty of scientists which were fucking morons, especially when they were talking not in their field. So I know I'm just nitpicking, but I think it's
by consensus, I should have said, yeah.
Welcome to Lucky as well. Obviously, links in chat if you want to come in, Lucky. You're more than welcome.
By consensus sounds very much like the populist arguments to me.
Yeah, but in layman's terms, it does. But in the field, when your peers are agreeing and citing you and everything, that's good for other scientists. And you'll notice a lot of the creationists, they won't get the citations and stuff. So,
well,
everybody's biased against them. That's why.
Feeling to consensus is only a fallacy when it's not experts, right? It's actually a version of the appeal to authority.
That's special pleading, if ever I heard it.
And that's only a fallacy if they aren't experts. And the reason it has to be experts is because they have papers and have done experiments in that particular field. So
I bring up
actually what you're actually appealing to is the data and the experimental results from those experts, not the experts themselves.
I bring up when your tooth hurts, you don't call a plumber, right? You know well enough that I want to call the person that's been to school and has the diploma on their wall and hopefully has good reviews and recommendations from others that, yeah, this is a good dentist. They'll treat you well and they'll fix you up. And you do have faith that they know what they're doing, but that's one of the many definitions of faith. Well.
I 100% agree. When you want a hamburger, you don't call a clown. That's what I say.
No.
Right. Sorry.
So what was the second thing? The second thing, you said there were two things. Two reasons.
Shit, did I? 2 reasons for what?
No, it was Serb, I think.
Serb has two creationist arguments. Yeah.
No, they're not creationists. They're just anti-evolution.
Yeah.
Anti-evolution.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon. As if
Yeah,
there's
but
a difference, but yeah.
Because you're on my side, Cerberus, we'll call them creationist arguments. Go for it, buddy.
So what's the second one?
Well, I didn't give the first one.
Yeah, let's have one of them.
I thought somebody. Okay, give me the first and second.
I guess it doesn't matter.
Just start from the second one, sir. It's okay.
Just start with the second.
Yeah,
yeah. We'll take the first one as read.
Don't fucking confuse me.
Proven.
We'll do the nitpicky technical one first because those are my favorite. The theory of evolution cannot be a fact because the theory of evolution is just words. So at best, it can only be true.
Oh my God! It's now you're going to do philosophy.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to get into the referent and.
Let's go to the second one because I think you're trying to go down the folklore line there, and we'll just give that a miss.
Okay. Okay. The second one is, well, how about I will preface this. Do we all agree that Newtonian physics isn't correct?
No,
it's really close. It's really close, but it's not actually correct.
On a certain scale,
no, it's
yes.
Correct.
It depends on the scale.
Yes and no, and limited by the time and the technology.
Should we just say no because the Serb is a cremationist?
All right, no.
And
Well, it's just
You're
a matter.
wrong.
It's
What
just
are
a
you
matter,
talking
right?
about?
If you,
Gosh.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. We'll say yes. We'll say
Okay,
it's
but
not
where are you
correct.
going with
It's
it?
not. It's
Yeah.
not correct. Yeah, we
I'm
all
going
agree
with it.
it's not correct.
Much like every scientific theory,
Yeah.
it's just an intermediate step. You know,
That's right,
the
yes.
previous theory of evolution is false. It's wrong.
It's
That's why we
provisional.
that's why you have to keep on updating it. The modern synthetic
Mhm.
evolutionary theory, I think is what it's
Synthesis.
called. With
Yeah,
the
modern.
Mendelian genetics, and I think there's a couple other things. We know, if we're honest, we know that that's not right. It's just closer
How do
than
we
the
know
last
that?
time.
How do we know
because
that?
because it will never be correct 100%.
How
Because
do you know
because
that?
of our infallibility and our inability to know everything.
How do you know that?
Because it's
Because-
true of everything that we do.
Yeah, because if it wasn't
Okay.
true, then there wouldn't be a new theory out next week.
Yeah.
Is
So,
there a new is there a new theory every week, or is that just
Nah,
something you
it's
heard?
just a hypothetical. There will be a new theory. I just posited that it will be next week. It could be the week after.
yeah, modern
Maybe tomorrow.
synthetic is younger than me, but it's not like super young.
Okay, so why doesn't it work? What's wrong with that theory?
We already know something's wrong. There are some predictions it makes about rates of change in genetics. It just doesn't match.
You got a source for that?
Well, we could dig it up. But
Let's go
there's
dig it up.
also more
Let's go
just
dig it up.
there's also just more obvious things, right? You have like the law of monophyly, and which I bring out to club creationists over the head with all the time. But really, when you think about it, if you take a crocodile, right, throw in an aggressive retrovirus, and then add a bunch of radon gas, it is technically possible to get a duck.
No.
It's just extremely unlikely.
Yeah, that's really unlikely.
Yeah, you're talking absolutes again, right? So that's the basic difference here, isn't it? So is science is provisional. That's the first point you made, right?
Yeah.
That's it, which is true. Which is true. There's no inductive argument which is ever going to be have a necessary conclusion. I think that's what you're saying from the philosophical point of view. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say no scientific theory is true or fact. It's good enough, and hopefully we'll get better.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was a kind of a mix of words there. Do you want to rephrase that for me?
I don't know. Well, calling it a fact for the first argument is already incorrect. But calling it true, right?
Sure.
In a very fuzzy sense, is true. But it's not. They're never perfectly accurate. It's impossible to be perfectly accurate.
Well, like I was trying to be accurate when I said it's never going to have a necessary conclusion. Right?
Yeah. Well, that's part of it. Like, but you said,
and that's what you
provisional.
mean by true. That's what you mean by true, though.
Yeah, it's
the point I'm getting to.
Always,
right?
It's always provisional.
Okay. So, Mike, science is always provisional.
Yeah.
It never has a necessary conclusion, and that means it could always be false.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go that far. Like when
Speed hates philosophy.
Provisional.
I know.
Provisional in that we continue to sketch in the details, right? So we have the overall picture of evolution, which was natural selection, basically. And what's that guy's name from the 1800s? Darwin.
That guy with the beard.
Anyway, that guy.
Yeah.
Charles Darwin.
Yeah, Charles Darwin, or something like that.
Well,
anyway,
should I act like a creationist?
Yeah.
Go for it.
If you want.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt him and say, you say
facts.
I say correct mistakes.
Yeah, okay, correct mistakes. Yeah. Anyway, evolution has been a theory which has continually sketched in the details, but the overall framework, even the one that Darwin came up with, was pretty damn accurate and pretty damn important. And that would be the whole natural selection thing. And that was the idea. And from then we sketched in the details, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm not ready for that diagram yet there, Simos.
Okay, I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
Yeah,
It's something we
well,
should
I'll tell
call
you when I'm ready.
retreating into the details. We don't want to
Yeah.
admit that we're wrong and we have to make corrections.
There are always going to be more details. Anyway.
Exactly.
But I want to back up to something about faith. Like, okay, if you're driving down the street and you want to go to the mall and you see a guy you don't know where the hell the mall is, and you see a guy in the street, you stop and ask him, where's the mall? And he says, oh, you go up here, you turn right, you drive 2 miles, turn left, whatever. And you go ahead and do that. Okay, are you accepting that on faith? Why are you accepting that on faith from some stranger?
Because you don't have GPS.
Yeah, well, why would you accept that on? And you know we would do it, right? This is something that a human being would do. You'd go and ask some person on the street for directions, and you would go follow those directions, fully expecting to find the mall there.
Yeah, I was a gas jockey for many years, and we had a guy come in one day, and he said, where's this? And I said, well, you don't understand. The road splits north and south at this certain road, right? So you want the north end, and you're on the south end, whatever it was. No, I've already been that way. Okay, we'll keep driving the other way. I don't know what to tell you.
Before GPS, that's the way everybody did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the thing is that everything we do, we could say we do on faith. Because, okay, I look over and I see my cup and I might just reach for it, right, on faith. I mean, I haven't looked at it again and confirmed that it's there. I haven't analyzed it. I haven't gone to great lengths to figure out whether or not it is a cup, right? We take it on faith. So, I mean, this faith thing is just how our brains work and how humans work, right? And the reason that we go on the street and we assume that some guy just standing there is going to give us the right directions to the mall is because we have this whole web work of culture and humans and social structure and experience in our lifetime that makes us trust that particular bit of directions. And that's why you trust science, okay? Because we have this whole idea of who's out there, the scientists, the textbooks, all that information, all this interaction, and we trust it. And we should trust it, is my point.
What, really? Like, science is just mankind's most recent attempt to be wizards. In the future, we'll have uber science and we'll forget all about science.
Oh, really? Whatever that is. Yeah.
In 200 years, they'll look back at our quantum physics, and other scientific papers, and they'll say, look how primitive their understanding of the world was.
Yeah. But they're not going to look back at evolution and say it was all wrong. They're going to go all the way back to Darwin.
They might come up. They might actually come up with evidence for a completely different theory that fits both the observations that led to evolutionary theory and whatever the new theory is.
Yeah, that can always be done, I feel, but that doesn't mean that those new theories are going to have predictions which evolutionary theory doesn't have, and that's the key point.
Yeah, they might.
No, they won't. That's.
Did you see?
When you say might, you're talking about an infinitesimally small percentage chance, and there is so much data on the side of evolution that the claims it can support are so much greater than any new theory that you would have to have the type of predictions in order.
Let me give you a simple hypothetical.
Hang on a minute. You'd have to have the type of predictions that not just new data that it could explain that evolutionary theory couldn't. You'd also have to have data in that theory that actually contradicted any chance of evolutionary theory being right.
Well,
that's a problem.
I'll give you a simple example. I think we can probably all agree that according to current theories, current thinking, telepathy is not something that's a thing. However, certain mutations may arise in which telepathy becomes a thing. Now, evolution could not predict that, but the new theory that they develop after the fact would.
Yeah,
There
I
you
mean
go.
that's
Um,
go ahead, Fabio.
No, I mean, it's really bonkers. I mean, so but the
I'm
first
doing
thing
my
is that
best here.
Yeah, I know, Brian.
yeah. No, I understand. I mean, the first thing is that the example that Mike made before. I used the word faith. I think this is the first red herring. I mean, I really don't like it. We usually work on trust, right? So if I see somebody, lives there and I want to ask for a direction, I trust, that it's more probable than not that he knows the answer. But it's not faith. Faith is, the putting trust in something that you have no prior data, So I wouldn't say that. The other thing, when Brian said, yeah, there might be something changing. Well, we studied the example, said before about Newtonian physics. We know that right now we don't use only Newtonian physics, to plan, trips to Mars or whatever, because there are also some some relativistic effects, right? But the fact that we take those into consideration doesn't mean that we throw away all the Newtonian physics. It's just a problem of scale. So, yeah, I mean, there might be something which arises, but what Sam was trying to say before is that the amount of data that we have right now towards the mechanism of evolution is gonna hardly be completely taken away by a completely new theory, which will have the burden to satisfy the predictive power that the current theory of evolution has, and more. So that would probably be an evolution of the theory of evolution. I can see that. That has happened, as Seb said before. But something which completely wipes it away. I mean, I'm cool with that. I have no issues with that. Provided that it brings the same predictive power, man, I'm all for it.
So let me just say, this is one of the reasons I feel that, and Mike, if you could confirm this, that the word fact is used with evolution now. It's not a theory. It's higher than a theory, right? Because there is so much data that's been done, and so many predictions of the theory have been shown to be right through experimental processes, that it's not even in question anymore. It's not like it's not like you say, Brian, which is a good objection that we hear often, which is, well, what happens if another theory comes along? That's the evidence is so extraordinary that the claim against it would have to be miraculous, right?
I think the word you were looking for was conclusive and presumed.
And a theory, in science, a theory is a fact. I mean, it's describing an aspect of the natural world. So they may have gotten the explanation wrong, but you can't deny gravity. No matter what explanation you give, you're going to fall down, right? So the explanation could change, but the fact is still there. So it's kind of hard to explain when you're trying to, again, crossing over layman's terms to scientific terms is a big problem.
Yeah. No, I mean, it depends. It depends what you mean. It depends what you mean with the word fact, right? Because usually, again, and I agree with you. Layman's terms, scientific terms, it's a mess, right? But usually when people say it's a fact, means that it is 100% true. It's that. There is nothing you can change that. As somebody said before, science doesn't work like that. All the answers are provisional. There might be, better answers, some crappy answers, some answers we're still working on, but by definition, they're all provisionals. And that I think is the I would call it weakest point, even if it's not really weak from my point of view of evolution towards creationism, because creationism provides an explanation which is a fact, right? In the sense that we said before, it is true, 100%. It's a 1, right? It's not a 0, it's not a 0.9, it's a 1. It's true. While evolution can't provide that certainty because it's falls into the realm of science, and science doesn't give you facts which are certain.
Yeah, it gives you the best answer given the evidence. That's all science ever claims. The best answer that we can articulate given our observations.
I bring up that I learned.
I got a couple things. But one of them involves what Speed said, and we're taking a while to get back to that.
Yeah, I know, but I need a little more time to get back to it, right? Which is just to say this. Okay, so in biology, agreed, it's a little more complex. But when they say evolution is a fact, they're trying to refer to mathematical models which have met the level of a theory, right? And because these mathematical models reach the level of theory, i.e., they've had experiments done them to show that they're correct. They have made predictions with these mathematical models, and that rises to the level of a fact in the strong sense of the word. Just like it's Newton's theory of gravity is a fact within the regime that it is applicable to. Relativity is a fact within the regime that it's applicable to, right? So physics has an easier time with this because it is reliant on these mathematical models. But when they say evolution is a fact, that's what they're I feel, Mike, please correct me if I'm wrong, that's what they're referring to. They're referring to mathematical models which have achieved the same level of correctness, if you like, as something like gravity's, the derivation of gravity's theory and the equations of relativity, shall we say.
I'm just going to interrupt your Gish Gallop there, like in true cremationalist fashion. And I'm going to just highlight the fact that you just said you feel. And feel is a very, very subjective, which is something
I'm not an expert,
that you can't.
Sure.
So your assertions are nothing more than subjective opinion.
Sure. But they are subjective opinion. I'm not an expert, which is why I use that. I use that word there. If you speak to an expert, hang on.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to get back to Mike to get more of an expert's opinion. Although Mike is obviously not a practicing biologist, but he's the closest thing we've got in this hangout. Mike, what I was saying about mathematical models being correct in evolution now, is that something which is true or not?
Okay. First of all, calling evolution a fact is a bit of rhetoric, and it's something that nobody should be doing.
Yes.
Okay. There are facts, something we can call facts in science, but fact isn't really a word used in science. We'll talk about mechanisms. We'll talk about how it works. Oh, okay. Evolution is a theory, which means it's an immense set of mechanisms based on, I guess you could call them facts about chemistry and what happens in molecules and things we can test and observe today, right? I think put that diagram up. I think that kind of puts them at the top.
While you're doing that, I just want to thank Mike for substantiating my position.
What's that? Oh,
no, just carry on substantiating, please.
Oh, your creation.
That's right. He's crowing as a cremationist.
Oh, he's crowing. Okay, good. Okay.
I for this evening, I am a fully fledged practicing cremationalist.
Okay. And I'll say one thing in relation to that, which is definition of a fact is a statement that can be proven true or false based on evidence, observation, or reliable sources.
Yes. And
that's
Mike
good.
That's just proving my side of the argument, which is that evolution is not a fact, but it is it is based on a bunch of facts, and it's a theory derived from that bunch of facts.
Yeah, and that's called a theory. Yeah. But I think you posing as a creationist is going to change our relationship.
Is that toxic? Is it okay?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think there's any going back. Anyway,
Can I just clarify that I'm a cremationalist, not a creationist?
Oh, cremationalist.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay,
Thank you. Yes, just want to be clear here.
Yeah. So the thing that we do that we do in science in the labs and genomes and all that stuff is about this top purple thing: mechanisms, facts, mutations, selection, drift, gene flow, things that we have tested and we know they happen, right? So we know these things happen beyond any reasonable doubt. I don't think any of that's going to change. The idea that when a gene copies, that there are mutations, nothing is going to change that. No new theory is going to change that. That's always going to be there. So we have all of these mechanisms at the bottom. And then we have further observations. I don't know. This is a ChatGPT thing, and I think it kind of screwed up. But present day observations, current genomes, fossils, and living diversity. Basically, these are all facts that we can draw from, observations to put together the theory. And from that, we can make predictions about what's going to happen, because any good theory, that's all it does is make a prediction, predicts where things are going to go. Also, you can put together a historical story about what happened. You're never going to be entirely certain that those are the steps that were taken, but you can put together a plausible story about how we got here from some imagined position a whole long time ago, right? So, I mean, that's all part of saying that we evolved from common ancestors, that sort of thing. And all of this is based on inference from evidence, basically evidence. So there's a lot of inference going on here, particularly when you look back to find the common ancestor between chimpanzees and human beings, for instance, right? People always get that wrong. They always think we evolved from chimps. We didn't evolve from chimps. Chimps have evolved just as much as we have since that common ancestor. So we're going back, and hopefully we can find some bones for that common ancestor. And for that particular common ancestor, I don't believe we found bones yet. So we just have inferences, right? So we can go back and infer. And but the theory is, you can take that diagram down. I think it sucks.
Okay.
After looking at it more carefully. Historical reality is the bottom one: descent with modification and common ancestry. That's what we're trying to come up with, trying to come up with these stories, right? So we got all these mechanisms that we know about that we can test in the lab today. And I mean, if you don't believe it's a fact that when you combine vinegar and baking soda, you get carbon dioxide and a salt, God help you. I mean, that's as close to a fact as we're ever going to get, right? So we can say that these mechanisms that we found are the facts, right? So now we go back and we infer what happened from way back in a common ancestor to now. And what we have to do is falsify this, right? We have to find something that couldn't possibly have happened. And we don't want to find something that just is, oh, I'm incredulous. I don't believe it happened. It just seems ridiculous. It seems improbable or whatever. We want to find some actual fact that says that this could not have happened. Now, when you look at a genome of a single-celled animal, you've got a bunch of letters in a string, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, say, okay? And now we look at our genome today, and it's A, B, C, or whatever, 30, 40 characters, right? You have to tell me why you can't get from that string to this string by insertions, deletions, and substitutions. And that's what you would have to do to falsify evolution, basically. Okay? And that's why we have so much faith in it, because all of these mechanisms are known. We know that you can get from one genome to another genome by these mechanisms. We know that it's possible. So, okay, so what's left? Well, what's left is figuring out whether natural selection is going to work. Okay, when you go from a common ancestor between chimps and humans, are there viable steps all the way between that common ancestor and a chimpanzee, and also between that common ancestor and a human being? Are there viable organisms that could be produced by some genome at every step of the way? And the answer to that is yes, there is. Okay, that one's a slam dunk. What isn't a slam dunk is when you go back and say, how did the liver evolve? Okay. And then you got to go back and you got to find all the different kinds of prototype livers that would have functioned and would have been naturally selected all the way from 300 or what is it, about 500 million years ago until now. And then if you find any step that can't happen, we know that it can't happen, you have falsified evolution. Nobody's done that yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And lots of people have tried.
Oh, yeah.
There are people constantly working on it.
Yeah, it's mostly incredulity. You know, oh, God, how could a liver have evolved? Well, I looked into it. Google it. There are tons of papers out there. In fact, there's an existing animal called Amphioxus that has a rudimentary liver, and we have examples of really rudimentary liver functional type parts of an organism. And from that, you can take a look at how the whole organ developed, basically along, through evolution. You can see every step of the way, and there is no step of the way that is impossible. And when you start looking into it in that detail, now there's a whole bunch of other misconceptions about evolution, like
of course. And let me try and bring up another one for you, Mike. You say every step of the way, but we've never found a transitional fossil.
I don't know. If you look at the whale transitions, I don't understand why they keep saying that. I don't know what's wrong with them. I mean, what is the okay? For the creationists on the panel, what's wrong with whale evolution? Tell me.
Brian.
The answer that I have heard commonly given to that whenever we've brought it up is that they are all transitional fossils.
Yeah.
So
the current whale is still a transitional,
or every fossil or species is fully formed, which I don't understand how any species could survive that wasn't fully formed as that species. But that's one of the
ridiculous
points I'll bring up. It was fully formed, and it's like probably yeah.
I always threaten to go and dig up their grandfather.
There is a thorn in that side, in the side of that. There's a couple of thorns actually. Probably one of the ones that's most commonly cited is the coelacanth. And the coelacanth is now was presumed extinct, and it's currently now farm fished because it was discovered, and it's now a staple in, I forget which country it is, but it's one of the staple fish that they consume these days. It's come back in a big way.
How dare that fish not go extinct?
Well, that's the whole point. It went extinct. So you've got coelacanth today, and you had the coelacanth millions of years ago. So where is the evolution? And secondly, my second example of this is you've got alligators and crocodiles now, and they are unchanged, and they go back all the way to millions of years ago. And the shark is another one that goes back millions of years. And the only thing that's perceptively different between the great white and the megalodon is size.
Mhm.
So again, where's the evolution other than the size and the change in the great white and the megalodon?
That is the evolution, is the size.
Yeah, but it's still the same animal, more essentially.
Yeah, same animal.
Yeah. Well, the
It's
even the
just smaller.
coelacanth is speciated. So
I mean, let's use the technical term, Brian. I think it's the same kind.
uh-oh.
Same kind, right? Yeah.
Oh, I see. So you will borrow from my side of the table when it's convenient.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay, I
Nice.
see how this is going. I see. Keep digging, Simus. Keep digging.
Oh, yeah, I'm having fun. I'm having fun. Oh dear. Well, I mean,
That-
just to throw another like bone out there.
I think I've won the debate already.
Which is never going to be fossilized, by the way, and no amount of radiometric dating can show that. But just to say, how can just look at the trees? Look at the trees, people. How could we have all of these wonderful trees by chance? Like,
Yeah.
if a wind, a tornado, blew into like I don't know, what's the example? Oh, junkyard. It's not going to create 747, is it? So how did the trees get here?
On a
Can't
quantum
see
Because
that.
it
level,
hasn't happened yet, Simos doesn't mean
Mike,
it never will.
How did the trees come by chance?
on a quantum level, nothing prevents a tornado going through a junkyard and creating 747.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Will it
nothing.
happen? Probably not. But nothing is preventing it from happening.
But-
There's nothing that says it can't happen. It just
Yeah.
probably won't happen.
In a world, in a reality of infinite possibility,
Right.
such as ours, you cannot say that anything is impossible because somewhere, to some time, it could happen, given the
Thank
right
you.
circumstances.
Thank you, Lucky. Trees are expected under the God hypothesis, but how under the evolution, excuse me, evolution.
Evolution.
How could you get trees by chance, Mike? Please.
How do you get what?
How do you get
Trees
trees
by chance.
by chance?
Trees by chance?
Yes.
Yeah.
It isn't by chance. It's causal. Basically, there was no chance. Trees from what? What?
Well,
Exactly.
What is
let's-
your,
Exactly.
What is
Exactly.
your, what is your
let's
common
wind the clock
ancestor?
back. Let's wind
Yeah,
the
exactly.
clock back
We're gonna go back to
to
bacteria.
to how the Earth was before it was colonized
Oh man.
by
Okay,
life.
okay. I have to
okay?
butt in. I can't wait any longer.
No,
We're like
yeah,
we're like
go
30
ahead.
minutes past my first note that I took that I wanted to reply to.
Oh my god!
Oh,
No,
really?
So
I'm
go
so
all the
sorry,
way
sir.
back from before Speed brought up this chart. That's how far back it was. That's why
Okay,
I
okay.
butted.
So look,
Go ahead.
I'll look. We'll put the trees on hold and hope they don't fossilize because they never
And I'll-
can. Spoiler: nothing
sit back for a minute.
fossilizes. Radiometric dating is shit. So go ahead.
Okay, so what was
We're
the
going to go
context?
back, Mike. We're going to go back
yeah,
and we'll
yeah.
come back to trees, Mike. Okay. Sorry
Yeah,
to
okay.
get you.
I
go
brought up. I
We
brought up
haven't
the
done
theory-
coelacanths yet.
Okay, I
We
brought
can
up
get
how,
back to those
okay.
as well. Coelacanths and crocodiles, we'll get back to them too.
Okay, now we're getting back to Serb. What the hell?
Yeah, Serb.
No, we're
Anyways.
rewinding way back in time. So
Okay.
I brought up about how theories are basically always wrong because you're always going to get a better one.
Right.
And
Yeah.
what was the context? Speed brought up, the scientific method. We can trust the science. And I wanted to say that within, I'm pretty sure. Well, Speed, when were you born? If you don't mind me asking.
51.
51. Okay,
Yeah,
twice.
1851.
Yeah, twice
Yeah,
in your
18.
lifetime.
Had to get the joke in.
Twice in your lifetime, the scientific process has changed. In 59, falsification was added, and in 73, peer review was added.
Oh,
So
you
you
mean
can't
the
even trust the
philosophers?
science. The science will even change.
So
That's
the
why I brought up
philosophers
the
have
word
been
science.
busy redefining what we're doing, but we've been doing the same thing.
No, not
all along.
not redefining, making corrections and mistakes. They're helping you. They're making you better.
Really, philosophers have created a lot of confusion. Yeah, okay, they have.
You'd be sitting.
Yeah,
the
falsification
you wouldn't even know what
idea.
falsification was.
Okay.
Falsification and methodological naturalism, those ideas, yeah, they're good ones. But we were doing that all along. I mean, that has been done all along.
No,
It's just
no,
common
no.
sense. It's what
No,
humans.
falsification
No,
was not
everybody
common.
does it every day.
Yeah,
Everybody
now
does
we
it
do.
every day.
Now we do. Right, but
You
before
do it every
Popper,
day
it
in
was not
in your
commonly done.
in your everyday life. You do science all the time. Okay, it's
Sure,
just
yeah,
an
sure.
extension.
You're doing the modern version of science.
Yeah, and philosophers told us what we were doing. They come up with words like
No. They told you what you were
falsification.
doing wrong.
When were we doing something wrong?
Well, before Popper, falsification was not common, and it was definitely
Okay,
not standard practice.
but who did something wrong? Give me an example of who did something wrong.
Almost all scientists.
Okay,
weren't doing
give
falsification.
me an example of some science that they did wrong because they didn't know what falsification was.
Most studies before 1950.
Okay, so
Any
chemistry,
example?
organic
you
chemistry.
could just look for studies
Okay.
before 1950.
I mean,
So
I strongly
organic
disagree with
chemistry
Seb,
is
yeah.
all wrong because we didn't know what falsification
no,
was, right?
observed facts.
So we don't know
are
anything about
facts.
that.
No,
Huh?
observed facts are facts. I'm saying the scientific
Observed
method.
facts are facts.
Yeah, the scientific method pre
It's the
1950 was
extrapolations I
incorrect.
think he's referring to.
No. He just brought it across the science, and I'm saying the scientific method was wrong in the 1950s, and we made a correction in 1953, and then we made another correction in 1973, or 59 and 73. So you can't even trust the science because there will always be better science. There will be the uber science of the future, and your little piddly science now cannot be trusted. It's just as good as you can do.
I see what
Really?
you're driving at. And
Okay, we
I am
invented the
so tempted to
transistor.
agree with you because it pushes my agenda, but even I have to say at this point that it's not redefining it; it's refining it.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
this is
No, it's. I mean,
It's not
it's
even that. It's
well. I mean, Seb is technically right. I mean, the
Yes.
thing. No,
He
no,
is
he's
so
technically
wrong.
right. I mean, it's
Technically, yes.
no. But even practically right. The falsification thing is spot on. That was a concept which didn't exist as a concept before. It is also true that, for example, if you take Galileo, for example, I mean, so Galileo is usually, used as the father of the scientific method. And it is true that, strictly speaking, as defined by Popper, he didn't use an experiment to falsify. He actually, what he actually did was, make experiments to confirm his theory. So it is
widely done. That's how it was done.
yeah. No. But you're right. I mean, what I'm hinting at, sir, is that while I have no problem saying you're right, even before, the concept wasn't there, and it was probably on its tail, but the scope and the reasoning was the same. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is that in the 50s it was formalized.
Yes,
Yes.
formalized. Yeah,
Well,
I'll go
I
for.
I mean, I'm not sure because some of the early people, some of the earlier work on things like electricity and gravity, that did use the falsification criteria, but they just didn't call it that, right? They just thought, well, does it work X way? Oh no, it doesn't work that way. Or does it work another way? So like Fab is saying, they were kind of looking for confirmation, but hoping, but every time it was wrong, they would narrow in on how it must work.
Well, yeah, but
especially things like quantum mechanics were first developed that way.
It was the general. Sorry, sir. I'll let you with you. But I just want to say it was the general attitude, which wasn't the falsification method. There were mostly before they were making experiments to prove their theory, and if it didn't work, they kept doing experiments, and eventually they will throw away the theory. But the main crux that Serb is hinting at is that the experiments were not designed to falsify the theory, which is in a nutshell, what the falsification method is, but they were designed to confirm the theory.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Those early studies where they were technically they
until
were accidentally falsifying their theory.
Yes.
They didn't find the thing. They weren't doing an experiment that specifically falsified.
There are a few exceptions, like, as I say, like early quantum mechanics, where they were trying to show that it wasn't something. Right, and that's probably how Karl Popper actually ended up getting to it. He looked back through the history of science and went, "Oh, look, some people were actually doing this falsification principle, using this falsification principle to try and narrow in on how it must be." And obviously, with quantum mechanics, they never got there. Right, the best they got is they ended up at the Copenhagen interpretation, right, which is nothing to say what it is. It's just to say that, hey, whatever it is, we're going to use it because it seems to work.
So sorry, no, it's funny you say that, because an example of the quantum theory, basically, they were trying to falsify because, there was some physics that they were so spiteful on the theory that they were trying to do whatever the fuck they could, just to throw it away. So
yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay, and then on to Simon, you said something about how like evolution is true, and then you said because I think Speed said some stuff about it. Mentioned about, well, he said mechanisms, but I would say observed facts. We have all these observed facts. Those are facts. Therefore, the theories are fact in this mathematical sense. And I'm going to say
not the details exactly. But when people say evolution is a fact, they're referring to the basic process. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to point out that this is, with my creationist hat on, this is one of the main dishonesties of scientism, right? Because a theory is a group of observed facts plus a story. That's the theory. But what happens is the theory has a name, right? And then we get the facts change, or they add more facts, right? More observations, or they find out a previous observation was wrong. So the collection of observed facts is different. Then the story changes, but they keep the same name, and then they pretend that they were right the entire time.
That's it.
They were wrong over and over again, and they're probably still wrong. So I'm going to say, anyone that wants to take a bet, I am going to name a new theory. It's called revolutionary biology, or evolution. And it's every observed fact that you have for your theory of evolution now, plus one unobserved fact in the future. See who wins.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're kind of preying on the provisional nature of science there, and confirming, you're conflating that with some kind of deductive argument. Very much. Hang on. Very much like Fodor did. Go ahead. I want to pass this over to Mike to just address these issues that we've been bringing up.
No, I'm just saying, that there's nothing wrong with what Seb saying. It's fine. You can make your theory and plus predict the fact which is going to happen in the future. The thing is that right now, and up until the point where your prediction is gonna be true, and it must be a prediction that the current theory doesn't predict. I mean, I have no reason to believe yours instead of the other. But he's right. I mean, you just have a problem of wait and see. I mean, if you want to bet your life on that, wow. I mean, be my guest, right?
Yeah. What's that one TV show where the demon jumps bodies? He's like sings "Time's on My Side."
I just want to welcome Jay, and we'll come back to you, Jay. I want to get to Mike. We've brought up a lot of points. Mike, is there points you can address here, please?
This whole Sir kind of went off on the philosophy angle of science, right? But that has fuck all to do with science. I mean, well, okay.
Yeah. Now, Mike, speaking colloquially, before you go down that road, Mike has a particular issue with philosophy being part of everyday science, right? Maybe it's to do with the foundation of science. I think Mike would agree that he's not talking about the grounding or the foundation.
Right.
Are you, Mike?
Right.
Go ahead.
No. And most scientists don't sit around and say, oh, I'm going to follow the scientific method, or I'm going to falsify this or falsify that. You just kind of naturally do it. It's a natural extension of how we find things out about the world as human beings, right? And this idea that we got this huge thing called science, and it's like this thing in itself, right? It's not like that. It's, I mean, if you look at all the things that science has, all the facts that are written down, all the textbooks, all the papers, all the knowledge that people have, you're still not going to get close to a cluster that you can point to and say science is there, right? I mean, it's just a word. It's a word we use to point to something because creationists deny it. That's about it. It's just a whole bunch of facts. Whole bunch of facts. And we've been doing like chemistry for, since the 50s, 60s.
Well, 1700s.
Yeah, for a long time, and figuring out how, like the Bohr model. I can't remember when that came out, but it was in the 19th century. All of these things they stand today, right? We found those things out without Popper. So I don't understand. I mean, it's cool that Popper came up with this theory, right?
Well, it's a description. That's how I look at it. It's a description of what scientists
kind of describe what was already going on,
what they are actually doing, and as I say, like as Fabio says correctly as well, is understanding that you're trying to falsify a theory or a hypothesis, I should say, gives you some more confidence that your hypothesis could be right. And at the end of the day, that is how science works. It doesn't show what is true. It shows that your theory has not been proved wrong.
There's one more step.
Hang on. And if you take that enough steps to show that your theory is not wrong, then we treat that as being true. Go ahead, sir.
Well, there's a step in there right before that. We didn't bring it up. We probably should have. Part of the falsification step for science, right, come from popular, down on high, from the godlike philosophers that just preach to the priests of science.
Yeah.
Right. Is if you don't know how to make an experiment that would prove your theory false, then there's no way for you to know that it's true.
Sure. Like I said, science works on that process of saying, well, all our experiments are going to try to show that it's false.
Yeah.
If we don't show that it's false, then we assume it's true. That is the scientific process in its nutshell. And Popper did correctly point that out by coming up with what he called the falsification criteria. And not just that, right? Because that doesn't work either. But like Mike's saying, you also have the other side of it, which is the verification criteria, right? Which is to show that your predictions are true, right? And that's an important part of science as well. So the Popper thing is not godlike in that sense, and all that's being said by both of these theories is this is how science actually works. When we look at science, that's what is foundational about the scientific method.
I know. When I said godlike, I was just comparing it to how the Christians lay out their mythology, their worldview. Yeah. At the top, God would be the philosophers. They're the ones telling the priests, who are the scientists, how to do their job correctly.
Right.
And that's the problem with peer review bringing that up, is the idea that the peers are all nodding their heads and agreeing when it's actually the opposite. The peers are trying to prove them wrong. And when they can't, they have to say, well, I guess you were right. So,
Well, provided it's been verified as well, yeah.
Right.
Or they've got nowhere else to go.
Welcome, Jay. Did you want to
Jay.
Hi, Jay.
pontificate for a short while, or are you happy just to jump in when you?
Oh, I'm just happy to just be here and just be with all you smart fuckers.
I don't know why my
the man is humble. The man is humble.
Yeah, bullshit.
I don't know why my bottom suddenly feels warm, but I'm glad you're here. Jay.
Yeah, right. I call it bullshit.
That's the diarrhea inducing shit that I just gave you. Yeah.
Okay. Skeptic, there's a link at the top. If you want to join, you're more than welcome to. That goes for you, Big Bad Mama, and of course Mod. If you want to come in and say something, then you're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
Even if you just come in and say believe. Go ahead.
Yeah, the only thing I ever thought of, like with science, is like philosophical on the It's because it was based on natural philosophy and it's predominantly grounded in empiricism. So, or based in not grounded, but
you're
based
right.
in empiricism. So
It is.
I've just always just kind of took it as a really, I'm not one of those non-believers that just goes all hog wild into science as the end all be all, but it does seem to be a very good, or at least for right now, for humanity, a good way for us to the methodology and the way we think about things and like discovering how things work, possibly why, but more importantly, how things work. We ask, okay, what's going on with this? We observe something and then we ask further questions, and then that's the hypothesis status, and then we experiment and we go into those models and those theories and predictability and all that. So other than that, yeah, to me it has a pragmatic use.
Yeah,
and it's excellent.
Yeah.
If we didn't have it, we wouldn't have.
Ironically,
have-
empiricism it predates Christianity.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a tough problem for us. Okay. So given what we know about the natural world, because we don't know about any gods or any of that bullshit or any supernatural stuff, right? Given what
Mike,
we know
don't get me started on the precept shit, man. I'll get you started on that precept shit.
Yeah, don't do
I'll
that.
take this. I'll take this channel right to hell.
What is an alternative to evolution? What
revolutionary theory.
Kind of mechanism?
Lamarckianism.
Lamarckianism?
Isn't that just another form of evolution, really, which has been falsified?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I know. I'm just basically talking on my ass.
I mean, I guess
creationism
is the obvious one, or intelligent design, I guess.
Oh,
but no, because we don't know of an intelligent designer, so that's not in our repertoire, so we can't use that. That doesn't work at all. I'm talking with what we know about physics and chemistry. What is an alternative to evolution?
Oh, my alternative to evolution is revolutionary theory, and it's all of those facts that you have there, plus one more fact that you don't know about yet.
Yeah, that's not like, I mean, like I said, that's evolution.
Let a philosopher
theory.
In here.
If you just add another fact on the top, it's still evolution. So
no, it's one. It's one.
Yes, it is. It is
unknown.
No, it doesn't matter if it's unknown.
Well, that happens every day. I mean, every day we add facts to it.
That's nothing that's going to change it from being called evolution.
It will be called evolution because of the dishonest of scientism.
Yeah, well, you say it's dishonest, but unfortunately,
keep the name, change the insights.
No. If they have to change the definition, then it's not evolution. But they don't have to change the definition.
Yeah, they changed the story. They changed the story.
It doesn't matter whether you change the story. If you change the definition of what evolution is, right, then it's no longer evolution.
Yeah,
but until you come up with a theory which predicts a fact, right, which predicts an observation, I should say, or some evidence or data, that's going to countermand that definition, then you don't have something called revolution.
Yeah, I'm saying when we observe one of those.
Okay,
facts,
well, just give us the prediction then, and we'll think about it.
Oh no, I don't have. I just know there's going to be one.
Right, sure.
So
I think that's a faith-based position for which you have no evidence.
It is, but it's faith-based like the sun will rise tomorrow.
No, it isn't faith-based like the sun will rise tomorrow.
You have examples of the sun rising, quote unquote rising.
Yeah. That's why.
Well, I have examples of theories being changed repeatedly over and over again.
That's why evolution is a fact. Is because that basic idea of evolution is not going to change anymore because there is so much data that confirms evolution.
Yeah, and
the data. The data's there.
No. Hold on a second. Because Jay said something before. You have reason to the sun because you see it every day. I mean, unless you can find. I mean, I really don't know. But you should be able to find a lot of theory which have changed drastically because of only one prediction more, while keeping the old infrastructure before. I'm not really aware of any of them.
Yeah, because you got an example of something and you've observed it, but when we say that the sun is rising, we know that the sun isn't actually rising. We know now that it's based on our orbit around the sun, but we call it a rise of the sun. But we have that example, and that's what we've gone off of. And yeah, we can be wrong in our
Well, I
perception.
think-
People have been wrong
May
about that
I
in the past.
just
But either way,
I have to say something
interject
first,
at
Brian.
this point?
I have to say something, Brian, just to serve directly, which is to give an example.
Okay.
Right? The example of gravity is a very good example here, where we changed from Newton to Einstein, right? Just based
Mhm.
on a few extra facts. I mean, it was not just one, but essentially it's one extra fact, which is the understanding of the speed of light, right? That changes the theory of gravity. Unfortunately, though, it still doesn't falsify Newton. Newton is still correct, right?
Well, I mean,
Because
we observe
because
Mercury.
because Newton is a special case of general relativity.
Yeah.
So it's still the same theory, right? Even though it is called different and it's called wrong, etc., etc. Those are just colloquialisms. And I want to add skeptical philosophy here. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hey, what's
go
up,
ahead.
Brian's hand
you
is going to
speak-
get tired.
Hi,
Before
Skeptic.
you speak, I just want to give Brian a go and then serve. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, a couple of things. First, good example of what you were talking about earlier about theory that's completely changed as a result of singular observations, maybe, is the shift from the geocentric model to the heliocentric model. That is a major shift in
No.
understanding,
So-
and that as a result of some
No.
local observations.
Yeah, but
When was
this is not what Serb was talking about. I'm
No,
talking about something, okay, a theory. Pick any theory, okay. You keep everything valid, right? And then you add one fact, and you have a different theory.
Okay.
That's
all
what I'm
the
talking about.
all the
I got an
observations of a geocentric universe, solar system are still valid within the heliocentric model. It's just that the heliocentric model explains the observations better.
Brian is correct, I think.
Yeah, and I'll give you one. Previous
Yeah.
to evolution, we thought life came out of stuff,
Mhm.
right? Darwin looked at some birds, boom.
And that just to build on what Cerberus is
Well, Brian,
saying, there, the ancient Greeks were. I've mentioned this before. They were one experiment away from proving that life couldn't just spontaneously combust out of dead things, and that was the fish under a bell jar experiment. And I forget who it was that neglected to do that. But if he did, then our understanding of evolution, we would have had a working theory of how life works
Probably
right back in
Aristotle,
ancient
by
Greece.
the way. Probably Aristotle.
well, yeah,
It was
and
around
I
that
think Brian's
era,
point, and I think Brian's pointing out, possibly pointing out that there is validity, but validity and veracity are two different things.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the thing that I just wanted to throw in an example here
Okay.
of, okay, you've got the Humble tardigrade is everywhere. We've even had them landing on asteroids or meteors or whatever. Yeah. Now,
Really?
yes, I believe that. I believe I'm correct in that.
We've taken them into space. I don't know how
Yeah.
they got there, but
Oh, okay.
we've taken some up there. Yeah.
We've taken them into space, yes, but
Yeah.
we've also found them in debris that has come in from space.
I'm not really sure about that.
No, I don't think so.
Amino
would've been-
acids, yes,
that
but
would've
I
been
don't know if they
surprising.
found a
Yeah, I don't know.
a life
Yeah, and I
form.
don't. Yeah, and I don't know how we would have been able to ascertain.
Well, that would
Because
that
if they
would have
came-
been, that would have been my question. That being the case, that being the observation, tardigrades coming in from space, how did the heck did they evolve?
But we don't know. I mean, if we have an example of tardigrades being in something that has landed on we found tardigrades on something that
Right.
was observed hitting the planet, do we know that the tardigrades were riding the thing down the entire time? Did we get a sample while before it entered the atmosphere and that
I
they
think-
survived?
Or do you think that
I
you
got
think they
something
may
on
have
that subject, gentlemen.
hitched
I
the
did
ride
look
when,
this up.
when it hit the atmosphere?
Okay.
We found them on the moon. We haven't found them on asteroids. We found them on the moon, and it's believed to
there
be
you
from the
go. On the moon.
2019 crash where they had that the Israeli crash down one. They believe that the tardigrades wind up coming off of that crash down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think
Were
we're
they dead?
we're straying, Brian. We're straying off
They're
a
probably
little
dead.
bit here,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
I want to just try and get back. Sir
was just
was
trying to
promised a go
Stick
back.
it to
Go ahead, Sir.
evolution, seeing as we lost my Crocs and
Yeah, I
sharks.
know. I'm sorry about that, but
I cut in with my go back with saying the boom. Darwin saw some birds.
Yeah.
That,
boom.
that was
Yeah,
my-
there you go.
Mhm.
You saw a couple of birds down the high street and went, oh, I want to reproduce with that. I bet I can. And if so, what my kids look like. I think that's what he was saying, basically. Mike, over to you. We have a
Skeptic
we-
philosophy joined us.
Yeah.
yes, skeptics here.
And I cannot believe I came in on my phone on the way home from work to hear y'all blasphemy and Karl Popper. Okay, I tuned in to hear it.
I don't think I was, to be honest.
I
Skeptic.
was, I was, and I
Yeah,
didn't mean to
Mike was sitting there bad mouthing.
blaspheme Karl Popper. I'm just saying that we were doing that kind of stuff before he pointed it out. That was a good thing, and it may be something that because he pointed it out, we have it on a placard somewhere, and it's helped us out. So fine, thank you, Karl.
Right. Okay.
1934
so
that happened.
There's a question for you, Speed. So, Speed, why are you displaying a craniometric picture? I don't know how to pronounce that word.
Yeah, that little
Cranium
thing is
picture. That's
from
not-
Haeckel.
That's not evolution.
Actually, Haeckel drew those pictures, and one of the creationists I listened to today. Okay, you see this one down here in the middle? He was claiming that Haeckel was drawing a Jew.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously some kind of monkey with a pointed, big pointed nose. I don't know what the hell he was drawing, but it wasn't a Jew.
Oh, neat.
Because anyway.
Right, so
looks
that's
like a
Hegel, and
proboscis
obviously
monkey.
he had an agenda, which is nothing. To
Yeah,
do
and
with
he was
evolution,
just
right?
trying to show he was trying to show the similarity between primates, I think. And I don't know what the hell.
I got up for a drink and he said, I'm showing something from Hegel, and I about had a meltdown in my brain.
Haeckel, not Hegel.
Oh, okay.
Hegel. Yeah, the guy that gets the guy that creationists love to malign. Talk about blasphemy, man. That's blasphemy. Anyway,
Hawaiian shirt guy still brings him up.
If you want to come
Darwin
in,
thought
Chris,
Haeckel was crazy.
If you want to come in, Chris, and just set us straight, I'd really appreciate that. Haeckel was showing recapitulation theory. It's racist. Okay. Haeckel was showing recapitulation theory. It's racist. So thank you, Chris. Please come in if you got time.
He was.
Where did we get up to, sir?
I was going to say something to Skeptic. But
go ahead.
Brian,
do that
I think
first,
Brian's
then.
been waiting.
Oh, sorry, Brian.
I
I didn't look up. My screen's too
Right,
big. I'm a gamer.
just to put the cap on the tardigrade thing, I've just looked it up.
Okay.
And whilst they haven't been discovered from extra planetary debris, they are considered to be a good candidate for the panspermia model.
Oh, okay.
So they are a topic of hot debate.
They are rugged little fuckers.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, and if anything can last the journey into space and cross from one planet to another and spread life, they are a good candidate.
They're like the alien.
They're hungry little piglets, though.
Is there something you wanted to say on
They
that?
don't evolve though. It's almost like they're perfect though.
They are fascinating.
It's like they won't adjust to any other model though. I mean, I guess everything can evolve, but for the most part, they don't change.
I think there's lots of species of them though.
Next week's discussion will be: is the tardigrade the pinnacle of evolution?
No, just say extremophiles.
I don't think the pinnacle of evolution is a phrase that most evolutionists would probably use.
Yeah.
But anyway, Mike, is there something you wanted to say on that?
No.
Top down.
Before we move on, because I think we're going to go a slightly more philosophical route in a minute.
Oh, are we really?
Oh,
Okay.
I'll
Is there
slit
something you
Mike's throat
wanted to
right
say
now.
on tardigrades and panspermia or transpanspermia or I don't even know what
Panspermia
it's called.
sucks. It's not how
Okay.
it happened.
Okay.
Is
There
it
we
that
go.
suck weenie or what?
Yeah.
I sense disbelievers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get
There we go.
the Philoso weenie shirts out. Everybody
I
don
think
one.
I think we have a definite appeal to authority there. So let's just hope he's an expert, and we'll move on. Serb, you want you to have a go at Popper, I guess.
No, I just wanted to say something to Skeptic.
Go ahead then.
You know, there is a particular person in the room that likes the gospel handed down to him from the philosophers, but doesn't like to be told where it comes from.
Oh dear. I think I've already explained that that's not actually correct, so but that's fine.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I
I'm
know.
lost.
So it's being deliberately obtuse in order to try and get a rise out of said person.
Well, no, I'm trying.
Oh.
I'm trying to be a creationist. I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Cremationist is what we're going to do
Man,
for now.
don't, sir. Whenever you try to Poe, it comes up. You know, it's just a catastrophe.
Yeah, I don't feel it as good as the other stuff I care about more.
Oh, you care?
Yeah,
That's new.
some things.
Sorry, it was too easy.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm just checking chat. Okay. So, did you want look, Skeptic? We were talking earlier about the falsification criteria, obviously that Popper came up with, and you know we were making the point that there were some examples in science of people using that criteria as a way to try and bolster their hypothesis before Popper stated it in a philosophical paper. Would you agree with that? That Popper that work is original to Popper alone, or would you think that?
No, not at all. That's not original to him. I mean, it's been talked about, but this is just like the Gettier problems. I mean, Gettier wasn't the first to stumble onto that problem. You know, other people had kind of stumbled onto it. But yeah, I think he solidified it. I think he put a bow on it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, very much like Darwin with evolution. To be fair, right? Darwin wasn't the first person to suggest evolution, but he certainly was the person that bundled it up to being a theory or a hypothesis which had evidence shown to be a theory.
As I said, it was postulated by the early Greeks.
Yeah, I mean,
and then
in a vague
out
way.
Of the room.
In a vague way.
I mean, of giants. Yeah.
My favorite example is it's in the Bible. Because in the Bible they said if you want to have striped sheep or cows or goats or whatever it was, you have to paint a stick and put it in the ground where they're copulating. Now that, in a very, very rough way, is the theory of evolution, because they're getting goats to copulate in order to produce a particular phenotype or type of goat, which is.
I think modern science calls that epigenetics.
Yeah, and when you think about it, we've manipulated the genetics of all of our domesticated animals. That's just the mere fact of domesticating them affects their genetics. I mean, you just look at the pig. You let any domestic pig, you know, with a smooth pink skin, that we all know and recognize, you let them go wild, and within the same generation they will revert to wild boar.
Right. Mike, could you just explain what this comment means? But Darwin solidified the idea of monogeny instead of polygyny. Yeah, is that right? I guess that's common ancestor. I guess he's talking about common ancestor, is he?
Monophily.
Maybe. Oh, I think that means
monophily.
A single ancestor in ancestral line, rather than as has proven with us humans, we've got lines of descent that diverge and then reemerge and then diverge, and so we've got multiple common ancestors.
Well, not quite. It's technically that a creature. Well, yeah, some sort of animal, for example, like us. We won't ever stop being primates, right? There might be down the road over the next million years, there'll be like 10 different kinds of species that come from us. Right, but they'll all be primates. That's what monophyly is.
Oh, right.
You
yeah,
never stop
yeah.
being the thing
Got
that you were
confused.
before. You
Yeah,
just hang on to it.
Chris is confirming it. Common descent instead of multiple origin.
Yeah, we are still fish. We are fish.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are still fish.
But
One
you
thing
brought up
doesn't
machine.
turn in, like something. I heard him today talking about claiming that evolution says that one kind will come from another kind. That's not true. It never happens. It never happens. That's just totally
But
nuts.
primates did come from fish, as we just said.
But they still
Well,
are. See,
they're
that's
still
the
fish,
confusion.
but no,
Yeah, they still are. They're just modified.
Yes,
So
yeah.
yeah.
We're
700
modified
million years.
Yeah.
But no, at no point along that line, that lineage, was there one kind coming from another kind. It never happens. One
Yeah, it's
kind
too
cannot
gradual.
come from another kind.
Mike and
Basically,
I
it has to
covered
be
the
this
heart.
lineage.
The heart evolution, and there's plenty of examples of a very simple heart and a more complex 4-chamber heart. So as Mike pointed out, it's reasonable to infer that in between you had from the very simple heart to the more complex 4-chamber heart.
Yeah, and you have to figure out what every step is in between.
Right.
And that's what we're doing. That's what people are busy doing.
Mhm.
We've got a long way to go, though. We're at the point now where we need supercomputers in order to do this work, and they aren't big enough yet. So,
And patience. That's something creationists lack is patience. They want an answer to everything right now. And I often say, hey, modern science is very recent. The supercomputers are even more recent. Give them a few days to work on it, will you?
I'm patient.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I just want to say, Simon brought up the goat or the sheep, right? And
Yeah.
I have a challenge for the evolutionists out there. Explain German shepherds without intelligent design. Go.
what?
We need to bring
Sorry,
bubblegum in here.
I said
I'm
explain
trying to
German
work out
shepherds
Fabio's
without
joke.
intelligent design.
Where'd the Dalmatians come from? You got wolves and you got Dalmatians. Where's all the ones buried in the ground? It's like, get a shovel.
No. Like there has to be intelligent design because they were literally intelligently designed
Mm.
from wolves. We started with wolves, and then intelligence came into play and bred them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Evolution falls.
I wonder what selective pressures or what ecosystem would cause a chihuahua to come from a wolf, basically.
Well, it took
I don't know.
humans. It took humans to turn the what was it that the common or garden cow was, the huge monstrous thing. Oh
Just say bovine, then you can't be wrong.
no, it was. I want to say Ewok, but
That's
that's
my
from Star
trademark.
Wars.
That's my trademark. Welcome to Mr. Maute. Maute.
Hello, Mouty.
Known only as the Tay.
Oh, geez, that's a fucking deep cut.
Yes, bring on the tea.
Tay.
Tay.
Oh,
Well,
hell.
just a different tomato.
Oh my.
Yeah. Tractators, tractators.
It's tomato season here in Ohio. I'm enjoying it.
Oh, tomatoes. I love tomatoes.
Hmm.
I'm still stuck on monogeny.
Still
I've never
warm
heard
from
of
the
it.
sun. Oh boy.
I might have spelt it wrong. I think I got it right. So monogeny.
Yeah,
We got
monogeny is a historical theory of human origins, positing that
monogenesis.
all humans descended from a single ancestral pair. And I don't think that it works that way. There's populations, basically.
It's
And
not.
I don't know anything
No,
about Darwin.
The
I don't care
phylogenetic
about
tree
Darwin.
rests at one organism, and that is the common descent theory, right? So Darwin popularized that and kind of provided the scientific evidence for that, which is the theory we currently use.
For phylogeny,
Polygyny was the idea that, like, a human population originated in Asia, and a separate one originated in Africa, and a separate one originated in the Americas, and they co-evolved, having multiple origins, hence polygyny. So that's from my understanding of science history, that's what Darwin helped solidify, was the common descent theory.
That's in the context of Earth too, for any nitpicky people out there.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, bud.
Oh, I'm usually always quiet. I said that's in the context of Earth life for any of the nitpicky people out there. Theoretically, you could have aliens that are biologically capable of interbreeding with animals on Earth.
Where did aliens come from?
That would be hard. That would be tough.
He's been smoking too much. They came from outer space.
Or not enough.
There's always aliens.
Oh, panspermia kind of thing?
That's right.
Well,
That's
that
what we were
or
talking about
any
earlier.
other kind.
Yeah.
I'm just saying theoretically you could have aliens that are biologically compatible with us.
Theoretically, you could have anything.
Right, but then you would have two different origins and not one origin.
Yeah, I mean, how else do you explain all the butt probes, that the aliens do? So yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
No explanation necessary,
smart
bro.
enough
Don't
to
look a gift horse in the mouth.
That's exactly it. Exactly it. It's back to that warm feeling on my behind. And, I'm blaming aliens. So
yeah,
there we are. And Skeptic's back. Thank you, Skeptic, for joining us back.
With the amount of humans that we have, if we're spread out across the entire Earth, if there were no airplanes, automobiles, horses, and we walked really slow, suppose we walked super, super slow, and we could only, like anyone in their lifetime could only go 5 miles, then there's a really good chance. There's a really good chance that different populations of humans could not interbreed with each other because of the way DNA mutates and how rapidly it mutates and spreads through a population. There would be a really good chance.
Didn't that
What's that?
almost?
Yeah, well, you'd be like a different species.
With Homo erectus.
You'd be a ring species, basically. So anyway, yeah.
Didn't that almost happen with Homo erectus?
What's that? Interbreeding?
The speciation. Isn't that how we ended up with Homo denisovans and Homo neanderthalis and a couple of the others that were coextant at the time?
Yep, they went on a walkabout and didn't come back.
I mean,
isn't that how those distinctions arose? Was because of possibly speciation.
Possibly.
They were close. They were close to getting to the point where they couldn't interbreed with each other. I mean, the chromosomes have to line up to a degree, and that can that chromosome 2 fusion. Basically, if one population had it, another one didn't, and they went off for 100,000 years, they wouldn't be able to interbreed anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I bring it up is because the amount of Neanderthal DNA that we have as modern humans is evidence that a lot of attempts at breeding Homo sapiens with Neanderthal happened for enough success to have occurred, given the number of failures that must have happened.
I think that the fact that go ahead.
It's proof of dirty old men.
Well, it's also proof that Saturday night has always been Saturday night.
Syphilis is the fact that we'll even try it with other primates as well.
Yep. Fab.
I think that the fact that population spread around, at least at DNA levels, and I think I'm not sure if me and Chris talked about it lately, but I think there is a good example. There is a tribe in Africa. You correct me if I'm wrong. There is more DNA variation in that tribe than in all the persons in the Western world.
I thought it was
So-
within Africa as a whole.
No. It's
within
a
the tribe.
specific
Within the
example.
tribe.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
both.
okay.
It's in
Yeah.
Africa
Tribe,
as
but
well. I mean, obviously, I think the alien thing is 100%. Otherwise, how else would you explain the pyramids?
Right. Butt probes.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
simply maintain my point.
I want to keep on saying this to the racists out there. I just want to point out, Native Africans are the most human out of any of the races.
And
Yeah.
We're all human. Like, what is that thing?
No,
We're
Homo
all
sapiens
100%
sapiens.
human.
No, Homo sapiens sapiens. Because there's Neanderthal DNA out there.
Yeah.
There's Sylvan DNA out there.
They
Native
are
They're the most
their
purely Homo
DNA
sapien
their-
sapien. Yes.
to make it clear, their DNA is the least cluttered with
Yeah.
things like Neanderthal, Denisovan, etc.
No. I mean, if you're
Not
talking
only-
about if you're
not
talking
only are
about
they-
my example, it's not a problem with cluttered. You know, it's the
Cluttered
most
is the wrong word.
No. It's the most complex. It's the most diverse.
Yeah, and that
It's the contrary of what you were thinking, right? I mean,
You're talking about
you
two different populations. You're
not
Yeah.
only are there
Not
Native
fair.
Africans, not only are they more human, they're less inbred.
yeah, more diverse.
I don't think it has anything to do with what we're
What
saying.
is more?
I know.
doesn't.
I'm picking on some other people I think are watching.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It doesn't, and there was a little bit of a miscommunication, but I think it's been cleared
Okay.
up.
Yeah, okay.
I see Mouty shaking his head there. What were you shaking your head at, Chris?
What does more human mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
This is
Well,
That was my
more,
hang
more
up.
Homo
Yeah.
sapiens
Well,
sapiens DNA.
Sounds like some weird purity test.
Yeah.
and
Well,
there is
I think-
no
No,
Yeah,
less
they-
Neanderthal, less
to
Denisovan
get
DNA.
to a level of purity considered how genetically diverse we are. So, like,
Well, the
more human
African-
sounds
What he's
weird
saying is
to
that
me.
what he's saying is that the African population split off in Neanderthals and Denisovans and
I
possibly
understand.
some other things.
I don't need an
And then-
explanation of history.
Okay,
I
then
don't
they
have to know.
moved
My question
Okay.
was, what does more human mean?
more Homo,
That's the question
a
I'm asking.
pure Homo sapien, basically,
Pure.
that wasn't interbred
What
with
the fuck is that?
another brand.
This is identity philosophy, is what y'all are
Yeah.
getting into.
It
Holy
means
shit.
less
This
DNA.
is why
from
you're on
other
the panel,
species.
Chris. This is why we need you. Go ahead.
Start climbing
Go
and
ahead,
stop
Sub.
digging.
I said
You were the one that
it means
used the
less
point.
DNA from other
Let's
species.
think of it in terms of breeds,
Yeah,
like
okay.
purebred.
That's
Okay,
not strictly
Rottweiler.
true. That A, that's not strictly true, and B, the only thing you can say about that is that the diversification of DNA in amongst the African population is higher than the rest of the world put together,
That's true. They're less inbred.
and that's basically because they had like an extra 100,000 years to evolve over the rest of the population that only started evolving. No, I'm using this colloquially. I'm not using this as a pure term, right? So I'm just saying the amount of DNA difference between a Chinese person and someone that lives in China and someone that lives in Germany, say, is less than it is between two people in Africa that live within 1,000 miles of each other.
Yes.
I
That's
have-
all it means.
I have a better way
There
of
was some-
explaining it.
Nothing to
It's
do with purity of race, by the way.
it's-
Nothing to do with more human or anything like that.
Right.
It's to
Right,
do with the fact that when you have a group moving out of Africa, as we have done several times, you only have the genetic variance within that group within which to build your population.
Exactly.
Good.
That's what that's
Okay.
trying to describe.
Yeah. Okay. So
Well,
that's
really.
basically the point. Is that
Mike's drawing
you know,
it out.
The
Yeah, thank
the only reason I made that example, actually, there are two reasons. First one was, in order for Chris to admit that I was right, and the second one is that it's a counterintuitive concept. You would think that a population which spreads, goes all over the world, and blah 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 blah, eventually gets a more complex DNA. There's more variations, while it's true the contrary is true. That's all I would say.
Yeah.
So on that basis alone, that the United States needs to open its doors and drop its borders
Don't think
and
it's
let
going to
some
help.
genetic
particularly.
variation in.
I
think
sorry.
they've already got the stock there to become a diverse population anyway.
Absolutely, yeah.
Ooh, stock. That's an unfortunate word.
Depends how many camps they open up, but yeah.
We need some more
Well,
Denisovan.
people don't want to go at this point. Like, I'm trying to get the fuck out. Like,
Well, the observation that I guess I'm really making is that I find it so much easier to mistake one American for another American
oh yeah.
than I do anywhere else in the world.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I went somewhere the other. I went somewhere the other day. I was in a store. Where the hell was it? A Walmart or something? And the diversity in that store was unbelievable. And I thought if ICE took everybody that fit their profile out of that store, I would have been lonely. I mean, really. It's kind of amazing, but the diversity is amazing these days. And I think it's good for us, but it's there. I don't know what it's like down south. Maybe you guys are different. I don't know.
I've noticed a similar observation here in the UK as well. Certain regions, there is a look to the West
Like
Country.
London?
And there is a look to the Cockney. And there is a look to somebody from Essex and Yorkshire. And, you know, that there are regional looks. And it is based on the on the genetics and the amount of movement that there has been within that population.
Yeah. Sorry, Skeptic. If you want to just drop it into the private chat of the.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, I didn't want it to play or anything. It's too big of a video, but there's a video that got made by Vertasium a while back that is related to this, the philosophy of identity. It's called Do Chairs Exist? And it really dives into the subject matter. I know this is a little off the topic of what y'all were talking about, but when y'all were talking about are we humans, are we more human, I couldn't help but think Do Chairs Exist, which is a great video from Vertasium. If y'all have,
when did he make it?
Well, if you wouldn't mind, if you wouldn't mind putting it into private chat, then I can put it into the link of the video as well, so people can watch it afterwards on the replay and stuff. Thank you very much, Fabio. If you want to drop that into our chat for me, and I will make sure it gets into the description of the channel.
On it.
Yeah, the thing is, saying more human was, kind of a mistake, but I get his point, and his point was the horizontal transfer that happened when the branches came out of Africa, and that horizontal transfer didn't happen to that population that stayed there, but that population that stayed there still changed into something other than what it was. So calling it more human is kind of a misnomer. So.
I don't think it was a mistake. I just meant Homo sapien.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
But we are all Homo sapiens sapien.
Yeah. We all are. Some of us are just slightly less.
No, it's not. It's not that any of us are less Homo sapien than anybody else. It's just that some of us are from populations with less genetic diversity. That's it.
Hang on a minute.
Some of us also have
Kentucky.
Hang on a minute.
You're talking about Kentucky?
No, hang on a minute. We can get back to that. But this video,
there's only one family.
This video you posted from Vsauce has a very specific and very suspicious looking avatar. Is that you? Is it anything to do with the Tay? Is it the Tay? Have you got yet another channel, Chris?
No, it's not him. I know it really looks like him, but it's not.
It really does look. Can you look at that video for us?
Hang on, let's have a look.
That's amazing because it looks.
Yeah. Vsauce.
It really does look. Different glasses, admittedly. Now I look at it, but other than that, I would say that is your twin. If it isn't Steve Vai, That's your twin.
Yeah.
If y'all haven't seen some Vsauce videos, that's a great guy to watch. Some of his
Okay, yeah,
stuff.
great. The link is in chat now, by the way, people. So the link is not in
subscribe.
chat, but it's also in the description. So if you want to,
That looks
If you wanna see
nothing
it.
like the Tay.
yeah, it does. Yeah, no, it does.
Vsauce.
It's a
Oh,
little-
that what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Same
bear some
glasses.
resemblance to each other.
Same glasses. Same tash.
When he
Same
said it, I was like,
ridiculous
yeah.
eyebrow.
I was thinking, oh, okay, he's got yet another channel I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Where's he going? He's just all over the internet. He's taking over the internet. That's what he's
That
doing.
would be Tay sauce.
He wants to be.
Yeah, there
Vsauce,
you go.
I'll tell you that.
T-sauce.
Well, this
With
dude's running
24 million subs,
subs.
he wants
Exactly.
to be.
Yeah, I wish. Imagine if I
I
kept a
think we all
channel with
wish.
24 million subs, like in my shirt pocket. Never told you guys.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I guess
that
you
would-
found me
That,
out. Yeah.
you know,
That'd
like
be beyond
that would
absurd.
be
Big deal
something
in
that you would
China.
do, though, Mouty. Like you would be the person to do that for
Well,
real.
I didn't I found out I don't know. I found out that Shanna was looking after that 250,000 sub page, atheist page. Like,
Yeah,
I
on
must have
Facebook.
found out that about
Yeah.
6 years after everybody else, and I was like, "What?
Yeah, me too.
This has got like 300,000 subs."
Shanna is
24
casually
million,
awesome.
though. That's a bit of
Casually
a
awesome.
different league.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Actually awesome is the way I'd put it. Oh dear. Anyway, there you go. Thank you very much, whoever did that. And that's you, Christopher, obviously. That's the one we're using. Thank you. And now it's all messed up, but never mind.
Eh.
Right, so where are we at? Evolution is a fact. Should we go back to that topic, or do you think we've done that to death?
I think we've proven conclusively that evolution is not a fact.
Okay,
Yes.
let me just have a look. Radiometric
Evolution
dating
is
is
a
totally
theory.
unreliable.
There's a theory.
Another thing from Karl Popper that he thought that they cannot be facts; they can only be falsified. That these scientific theories cannot be proven; they can be falsified.
I agree.
So-
The best they can be is true. They can't.
Yeah,
be
but
facts.
proven is a strange word to be using there, I have to
Yeah.
say. And if Popper was really saying that, then I think he's playing into the pre-suppers game of
No.
saying, well, just because there can't be a deductive argument for science doesn't mean that it can't be proven.
No,
You
you
don't-
are playing into the don't confuse the map for the terrain.
Yeah, and you don't need one dating method. We have multiple dating methods that agree with each other, and we have other sources like known events, like volcanic eruptions, that we know when they happened, and they also happen to line up with the dates the dating methods give. So when you bring all these things together, you have a lot of corroborating evidence. You don't have to rely on just the one dating method. Again, they're trying to disprove them, and they'll say, well, wait a minute, we've got this other method. And what do you know? It comes up with the same dates. So it hasn't
Yes.
been disproved.
And please don't anybody go down the route of you can't prove a negative.
Please.
Yeah.
I just
I
okay.
think-
Another objection. Maybe it's an objection. I've never seen a non-god come from a god. I mean, dog. I've never seen a non-dog come from a dog.
You are an idiot.
I think T.
So
Jeff
you have-
addressed that with Hovind when he
I
said,
have.
I've never seen a non-Hovind come from a Hovind. So
But you
I've seen it.
you have seen a dog come from a non-dog.
I've seen a
I've
turd come from a dog.
That's
wait,
what I was
are
just
we-
about to say. I've seen a turd come from a dog. That's a non-dog coming from a dog right there.
Are we
There
saying
it is.
phenotypically or genetically?
Genetically,
Up to
the
you.
turd is the
Up to
same
you.
as the dog.
'Cause I've seen some non-genotypical things that are genetic dogs come from dogs.
Could you explain yourself there, please, sir?
I think phenotypical being the shape, right? Something we would
Yeah,
image
phenotype
that
as
we would
opposed
to
define as a
genotype.
dog.
Welcome to BS Lewis, by the way. Thank you very much, BS. Welcome. And like you said, where's the comment again? I missed it there. I love poppers as well, by the way.
and if you wanted to hear the other side, BS had Bread and Missing Mod on last night, giving the other side of the evolution.
What? I thought she was supposed to come over here.
She was supposed to come over here, but
She dropped by.
she's
She-
too busy for us. She's too busy for us.
She got real mad at me when I said you have to learn what monophyly is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. We won't talk about people that aren't here if you don't mind. That's all. Anyway,
and a guest is a guest, right? If you come on, you're a guest, and you'll be treated like a guest. So that always goes for theists, anybody else. When you're a guest, you're a guest, and as long as you're civil, we'll be civil back. So it's not a problem.
Unless you're part of the furniture, like most of some of the windows I'm looking at.
There's some banter that goes on. Sure, there's banter.
You treat us like crap, and we deserve it. So.
Yeah. What Squiffy?
Pay attention how we talk about each other.
With your icons.
And obviously, BS, if there is a link up pinned, if you want to jump in and say something, that's fine. We more than welcome your critiques. Anyway, so did we answer the dog one? I think we did, yes.
Yeah.
We've done the radiometric dating. Oh, yeah. Flood geology explains all of the fossils. I mean, how else can you explain?
Oh yeah.
Like fish.
How they all got buried
on the top of Mount
the
Everest.
Magic Zoo Boat. The Magic Zoo Boat.
Thank you. Yeah, there you go. How can you explain that? That's just unexplainable.
Yeah.
Plate tectonics.
Well, the soft tissue of those animals must have just been more dense. Yeah. Right, so they laid down in layers of density.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean that also isn't it? That also proves that gravity doesn't exist. No, you're right. I mean,
but unfortunately,
it's all density.
Unfortunately, and this is probably where I get accused of switching sides in the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon supposedly was created by the flood. In which case, why are there fossils in the silt layers in the strata of the Grand Canyon?
Right.
The devil.
I always say, where's the debris field? If you follow the Colorado out to the ocean, it's all fine silt. There are no large boulders. If you would have had a catastrophe like they like to point out in other areas, you will find large boulders from a catastrophe. You won't find the fine silt, which pretty much shows that it wore down gradually.
What I would like to see is the impact.
Let me, before you say that, I need to just answer Dave quickly.
Right.
Okay.
I think you'll find it was humans riding big dinosaurs that dragged the boulders away. Go ahead. Brian.
Oh, I didn't think. Thanks.
I would like to know where the impact crater is that so obviously splashed sand all over North Africa and created the Sahara Desert. You look at it on Google Earth, and it looks most definitely as though some great big hand has just gone splash. There's a bunch of sand. Where's the impact crater?
Well, if you want to bring up Hugh Ross, I mean,
wind.
You got invisible demons that don't leave a trace. So there you go.
Yeah.
Never underestimate the devil putting dinosaur bones, where they shouldn't be.
That's right.
That's one heck of a hurricane that caused the Sahara Desert, and we know that it was green and lush before that.
Repetitious. It's just time blowing sand, man. It's not worth it.
Okay. So we are ripping through them right now because that was dinosaurs and humans together, which I just threw in there at the end there quickly. But looking at my list, second law of thermodynamics, guys.
Oh,
I mean,
fuck off.
That just proves evolution, surely.
Just fuck off, yeah.
And the heat death of the universe proves what exactly about energy and matter and destroying it? What?
And you have to understand usable energy. Yeah.
You say that, Brian, but that doesn't explain how life comes from non-life.
Well, Pasteur took care of that.
All right.
Yeah, but the heat death of the universe does explain the expunction of all life everywhere. Is expunction the right word?
But
is it even a word?
We'll accept it for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, how do you explain the fact?
We'll let it pass under the Bush clause.
Yeah, I'm not even listening to answers anymore. I'm trying to play a proper creationist.
I told you to accuse me of switching sides.
How do you explain? Well, someone's got to do it. So how do you explain the fact we're moral creatures because evolution promotes atheism, and obviously we know atheists have no morality. Skeptic,
Evolution promotes
you like to take this
atheism.
one? Atheists can't be moral. They got no grounding.
Yeah, not really. I don't want to take that. I mean, there's a lot of bases. This is Greenbeard effect on the evolutionary side. I mean, Daniel Dennett used to take off on a lot of this, these kind of little tangents based on philosophy ideas, and it was a little out of his wheelhouse. But I think Daniel Dennett's convinced now that everything that is a part of that is explained by Greenbeard effect. And it's something that we have altruism that gets developed. So I mean, yes, you can explain these things through some through philosophy, but philosophy isn't the main driver of evolution or of moral compunction. You have an internal desire first, and then you build these frameworks, whether you use some other framework, whether it's deontological, if you're Christian, or I don't know, I guess there's some skeptics that use deontological ethics or consequentialism ethics or virtue ethics, but they build all of this on the top of something that's already there, which is they have an impulse. So there was this old study that was done a long time ago about they used the video from Pet Cemetery where the kid got hit by the 18-wheeler.
Oh, don't put it in my mind.
I know. Well, here's what they did. They observed a few people under camera that had not seen it to see how they responded. And people, when that scene came up, they looked away like they couldn't see it. And I think this is a part of just, it doesn't matter if you're Christian or you're not a Christian. This has nothing to do with it. There's an internal impulse that makes you turn to that. Now, the rest of the philosophy, you can build a philosophical model of ethics or whatnot, but it starts with that internal impulse.
Yeah, I've heard recently that morality is more of a gut feeling, and I think I quite like that idea. Go ahead.
We talked about that last night. What the Christians will say, it's written on your heart, and what they mean is that it is in your nature. The nature of the kind of organism you are is the basis of morality, and then it develops in an organism as it grows up in a family, in a culture, right? So I mean, but there's roots there, and the part that's written on your heart is the emotional part. Like we sort of abhor violence because it scares us and it feels bad, that sort of thing. So we're going to move away from any situation that's going to be violent, and it all develops from there. So basically, morality is grounded in the kind of organism we are, and it's that goddamn simple.
Yeah,
and that's why you could call it objective in a way.
Okay,
but I wouldn't do
Chris,
that.
Did you want to say something? You came back on camera. Did you do that for a reason? Nope. Okay, Brian, did you want to add in? You were jumping at the bit just a little bit of it.
Yes, I was wondering because we got derailed. We were going to discuss how trees evolved on a barren landscape, because I was about to set the scene before life encroached onto land. You had no soil, you had nothing that your plants could evolve onto, into, and grow from. So how did we get trees?
What kind of creationist are you?
No.
The God put the dinosaurs here so the ground would be fertilized so the plants could grow.
Okay.
Yeah, without the dinosaurs crapping everywhere, you've got nothing for the.
Well, don't ask for an explanation. Now you're making it difficult.
Hang on. Let's just get an answer to that, because I think that is one of the arguments that they put forward. Mike, did you want to come back with an argument?
Okay, the actual story is lichens first, lichens bacteria, and lichens spent a whole lot of time, and then fungus, and the very first things that looked like trees were giant mushrooms, giant fungi, and that started producing the soil, and from there the evolution of plants started. And I'm not quite highly familiar with early evolution of plant types, but that's just a misunderstanding of what happened. It was a lot simpler, and that goes back to this whole problem with understanding evolution, is the common ancestor is not the same as any one of the branches, even if it's a coelacanth. There's something more. There's something simpler that came before, basically, and it was a kind of thing that was capable of becoming both the things that evolved from it, right?
Yeah.
And you have to figure out what that kind of thing is, because it's not like anything that you have today. So.
All right, I just quick get in there. I likened the cut of your jib. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All dad jokes.
I'll be here all night. Thank you.
Yeah, you can subscribe down below for more dad jokes.
Yep.
Okay, so that kind of explains it, really, doesn't it? Is that I mean, did the first lichen or whatever it is come from the water? Is that really the thing? There was a David Attenborough First Life program, and it's David Attenborough, right? So it must be.
I mean, it would have had to have started on the shoreline.
Well, apparently not.
On the edges of water.
Not in
coil.
the
coil could be migrating up, and it could be carried up by the things that are emerging out of the water. I think there's a very close similarity to older coils that we're seeing fossils of, and we're seeing similarities to that in early mushrooms. So I think that might have been the beginning of that development.
On land.
Yeah, the very first life on land was probably in that area where the waves were kind of washing up over the shore over and over again. So you had like a microenvironment, and then inside of that, you had pools that basically got stuck up on the shore. And so there were all these microenvironments, and then it slowly encroached on the land. But
tree-sized mushrooms. Tree-sized mushrooms,
later,
Mike. I mean, come on.
I know. Oh man. Oh God. If I found a magic tree, like a 75-foot magic tree,
you live in it.
I could grind it up. I could grind that sucker up. I'd have a lifetime supply.
So, Mike, I have a big question that I have lost my knowledge on the subject or something. I forgot it, but I thought I knew it one time. The argument between grass and bamboo, where do we put in tree species or early tree species upside the grass and the bamboo? Who came first?
I don't know.
Which came first, grass or bamboo? Fairly late development.
What now?
I thought grasses were a fairly late development.
Plants and animals seem to come about at the same time, so it's really one of those areas of investigation. They really don't know. It could have just evolved at the same time. So.
I think animals need a fair amount of oxygen, so I'm guessing
grass is pretty recent.
Plants predate. Oh, I think it's not plants, is it? It's the stuff in algae. I think algae is the main kind of contributor to oxygen in the atmosphere. Okay, look, I think we've kind of done that, and what I'd like to what that highlighted to me, thank you, Mike, for doing this, is that evolution is a very wide scientific theory which encompasses a lot of specialities, and for one person to know everything is almost impossible. So it really comes down to a specialization in science as well, which is why I think that the public have such a hard time. The public like me have such a hard time with a theory like evolution, because it is such a broad topic that the simplification of it is is not accurate, or is more easily pulled apart because it's not accurate. And yet to actually know the full details of the topic is almost, you have to get to a ridiculous level of education before you can really understand the wholeness of the topic.
The way to understand it is to understand current biology today. Basically embryogenesis, how that happens. Now, as long as we're here talking about evolution, there's one myth: the myth of DNA being a blueprint for an organism. It doesn't work that way. Let's think about what a blueprint is. Like, you're going to build a house, right? And you're going to build the walls, and you're going to build a floor, and you're going to build the ceiling or the roof, ceiling, and windows, right? Okay. That's how that comes from a blueprint. Somebody will design this whole thing, and then they'll say, oh, I need to do this here, and they'll figure it all out all at once from that blueprint, right? Well, life doesn't work that way. So the way life would work is if basically the walls, like the floor and ceiling happened first. Of course, there'd be walls out here on the side, and then they decided they needed a roof, and then this whole thing, the roof and the walls together, decided they needed a window. So that's how embryogenesis works. It's a little bit different. So what happens is one cell right here will start out in the middle. Basically, you have one cell type, and because it's there, around its edges is a different environment, and it will it'll take a different chunk of that DNA and create these purple cells, right? And then there's maternal effects from the mother. So basically, there's already an XY axis set up, right? And that will tell this thing with these purple and blue and this axis to create blue ones, right? Purple and the axis, and it will create blue ones. Whereas down here, it's going to create orange ones. And then other things happen, like these cells will start to break up at some point because of other influences, and they'll float out and they'll coalesce somewhere else, and they'll create another little microenvironment. It'll go and sip at that DNA in a different way, and it'll create a different kind of organ. And that's how embryogenesis happens. And what happens is that every stage of evolution basically has to create a viable organism. And those viable organisms, when you look at bacteria, the next possible viable organism is going to be probably another bacteria or a very, very simple multicellular animal. And you have to look and figure out what all of these steps are in order to create something with organs and whatever. Does that make sense? It's not a blueprint. DNA is not a blueprint. It's much worse than that.
Okay.
I remember an hangout, which in internet years probably happened, 200 years ago, because it was just 4 or 5 years ago when hangout was a thing, and at the time it was among the theists, the sentence DNA is a code was all the rage. And I remember an hangout, scientist Sam was there, stuff like that, where we compared and we gave reasons why DNA is not a code. And basically,
like 10 years ago, Fabio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically, I mean, to recap, the old 2 hours, it breaks down when you examine the semantics, which is completely lacking in DNA. So yeah, it doesn't.
Interesting.
Work.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, I mean, that's all fair enough, guys. That's all fair enough. I mean, you think you guys are onto a winner with the theory. It's just a theory of evolution. But what about soft tissue in dinosaur bones? They prove the Earth is young.
I've got the
we
video
talked about
clip
that last night.
Yeah, I've got the video clip of Mary Schweitzer asked straight to her and from her own mouth, where she says they are misrepresenting my research and they are missing all the fabulous things we have discovered by going on about this misrepresentation of her research. So she is, I would say, in a way, brokenhearted that she made this fantastic discovery and nobody's really talking about it because they've turned it all around to soft tissue, which is, again, a term that the lay people do not understand. In science, soft tissue is fossilized things like stomach contents. That is a lot more rare. And going back a little further, fossils are rare. That's 101. That's why you don't find a lot. And finding soft tissue that's fossilized is even more rare. And this is the great discoveries that these scientists make, and it's missed because of the sensationalism by creationists that, they found steak on a dinosaur bone, and they just didn't.
So basically, it wasn't that she found soft tissue per se. It was that she found rock that used to be soft tissue.
Exactly.
Well,
I'm going to play
it's a
devil's
little more
advocate.
than
The
that.
devil put that soft tissue there.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
That's my
There's
argument.
a little more to it than that. They actually found traces or fossils of certain molecules, certain amino acids in collagen. And collagen is a remarkably stable protein that forms, and it forms in these fibers, right? So there's fibers and bundles, and these things in some very, very tiny amounts in some bones actually ended up preserved. And they could look at these fossils, and you've got like amino acids, right, in a protein. So you've got a chain of amino acids, and they're looking at something else. They aren't the same amino acids. They're a modified molecule, another modified molecule, another modified molecule. And they were able to figure out what the amino acid structure was by the shape of this modified molecule, right? So they found a chain of modified molecules, dissolved it out with acid, and it tended to act like tissue so that you could stretch it a little bit because it was an organic remnant. Now, when you think about a fossil, when a fossil gets buried and there's carbon compounds in there, where does the carbon go? A lot of it washes out, but not all of it. It's perfectly possible for a molecule to be preserved for 100 million or 200 million years. There's no reason why it can't. You're just not going to find a lot of it. If we could find a lot of it, we'd have DNA of dinosaurs, right? And that would be great. But so far, we haven't.
Okay, that answered my question. I was going to ask us when you said shape, do you mean literally just mean the shape? Or are you saying they figured out a way to determine what the DNA was?
Well, for blood vessels, it was a shape, but for some, I think they found remnants of DNA and remnants of collagen, basically still like they found them hooked together or in the same place. So that they could tell that it was an actual sequence of DNA or proteins. So they were able to figure out what the amino acids were, and they were able to compare the collagen of dinosaurs with the collagen of some other species because we found these remnants, right? So we have found them. We can't, but why would we not find them? I mean,
so the actual collagen itself has been preserved.
No, it's basically the collagen. Each of the amino acids got modified into some other compound. You know, they got like hydroxylated or carboxylated or whatever, but they're no longer. But they're still recognizable. They can still tell the difference between one amino acid and another.
They didn't find the literal collagen. They found all the compounds connected but changed, but in such a way together that they figure out what they used to be specifically.
Yeah. And they were still stuck together apparently, so that they could come up with stretchy tissue, right? So they could figure out what they were.
So
that's amazing research. Yeah, it really is.
But now, okay, for the blood cells,
it's not a good analogy, but what my brain is hearing is, okay, you found like uranium-13, and from that you're able to deduce that it was once a different isotope of uranium.
Well, this would be a compound, not a singular.
But it's like a biological analog to that.
Yeah, and for the blood vessels, what they found is the shape in the rock. They found the shape of the cells because we've gotten really good at analyzing these things now, and we're finding all kinds of intricate structures in the fossils. But they did find a heme, which is a particular kind of molecule that exists at the center of a hemoglobin protein. They didn't find the hemoglobin protein. They found just the heme, and the heme forms this really extremely stable anthracene type product that I think we found in asteroids. The same sort of thing. So I mean, they even survive, entering the Earth. They're just extremely. So they found heme in the middle of these shapes that looked like blood cells, but they did not find blood cells or phospholipids or any of the membranes of cells or anything like that. We're just finding traces, and we're just getting better at figuring this stuff out, and hopefully we'll get better and better at it.
Okay, it's one thing I care about. Let's say 10 years ago we were 10% of the way to having a dinosaur.
What?
How close are we now? Are we 11% or are we like 30%?
There's no DNA for a dinosaur, so it would
Yeah,
have to be genetically back from a modern bird that's a descendant of.
No,
Yeah,
what
we
I'm
had
saying
a
is
hell of
if
a
you
time.
could find, if you could figure out what those individual compounds used to be, you could, in theory, find something that you could decode, for lack of a better word, back into the DNA it came from. That's what I'm saying.
Not
He's
according
saying
to
you could
Mary,
read the
because
blueprint.
But you still wouldn't get a
fragmented.
dinosaur.
It's so fragmented. You don't have the good sequence like they.
So
They
even if
borrowed sequences in Jurassic
but it's
Park,
like
right?
finding
They don't
bones.
have those.
But it's like finding bones. You find the partial skeletons of the same animal 100 times, and eventually you figure out that, oh, these go together.
you
like
put
this.
it together. Yeah, put it together. But even if we had the DNA of a dinosaur, we couldn't create a dinosaur because we need that maternal environment. And we don't know what that maternal environment was. So the maternal environment is really important in embryogenesis along with the DNA. If you just had DNA, it wouldn't work. So
Well, we could kill a bunch
eat
of
some
them, in
frogs.
the process until we get one that works.
We have dinosaurs.
yeah, you might. You might find some sort of mother cell that,
Creationists, quit getting your science from science fiction movies. That would help a lot too.
Could you not? Could you not?
Well,
could
you
you not
say that.
resequence? Could you not resequence dino? Like you can from the impressions and the remnants and the clues
not
that
enough.
you've got, you can figure out the genome. Can you then not resequence that genome?
No, according to Mary, it's
they-
all out of whack. So you'd never be able to. It's like it's like taking a puzzle and cutting off all the nubs and trying to put it together. It nothing fits together anymore.
Well, you get these sections. That's basically how we sequence the genome. But the thing is, I think we put together some sequences of some ancient DNA, but I'm not sure how ancient it was. But we got very, very short fragments, and putting together the whole genome would really be a miracle. That would be a miracle.
How about reverse engineering the DNA of birds?
Yeah, that's a possibility. That that's why we have to figure out all the steps going back to that common ancestor, and then you can start reverse engineering organisms and figuring out what kind of DNA and what kind of maternal environment creates a phenotype, right? And if we have massive computers, massive supercomputers, we're getting to where we can do that. The problem is gene regulatory networks, something I haven't talked about yet, are really important, and they're very complicated. And it's taking us forever just to figure out a few of them, right? Because they are so complicated. And those are the things that we need to figure out in order to cure cancer, in order to create dinosaurs.
Am I right in saying that they have actually engineered chicken with teeth?
I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah,
I think it was a small mutation.
You can turn it back on and get teeth, because it's still in there.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
So
that was
in
my
theory,
understanding. They were just kind of
if you find the sequence of genes that would turn a bantam hen into a velociraptor, you could, in theory, flip all of those genetic markers and breed a velociraptor.
And possibly create it with a chicken, a chicken egg. Maybe it's the right environment. You got to have that maternal environment, and then you got to have that first, that fertilized cell, and then it develops from there. It would be a hell of a thing.
That speaks to the way that you say that the organism develops from that original cell, that it gets constructed from the gametes.
Yeah. But maternal environment is very important, though. There's a lot of maternal mRNA that comes into the very first cell, right? So it came from your mother. It didn't come from your DNA. And that maternal RNA still has an effect on the first few hours or possibly even a few weeks of the organism's development. And then the
Isn't
maternal
that-
DNA goes away and your DNA takes over.
Are you
Isn't
saying my
that,
mother created first life?
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
mother
Your
is-
mommy had more to do with you than your daddy.
Yeah.
Mike was there.
Fair
So
enough.
I was there.
Okay, I think
That
we've
gives a you
kind of,
mama joke a new twist, doesn't it?
yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It does.
So yeah, moving on, because like we're gonna be wrapping up fairly soon, people. Okay, like how do you know what happened to the dinosaurs? Right, historical science is unreliable because you weren't there.
Oh, yeah.
So
you're going to go
tell
to
us
the
about-
rock layers that
Tell
the
about
creationists
inference.
don't like. Yeah.
Tell us about inference, somebody.
Well, I wasn't there when my son brought down a big, huge tray of dirty dishes, but I assume it was him because I inferred that it was him. Because I don't know who the hell else would have brought a giant tray of dirty dishes down and stuck them in the sink. So
Right, so you're saying
it's
he's
a
done
simple
it before, are you?
inference.
You saying
One
he's
of his
done it
friends?
before?
Yes. He's done it before. I don't think his friends would do that to me. I don't know. He would, but
That's one of those
he brings
facts
he,
and theory
he,
things,
like
right?
he waits until he has 500 pieces of silverware and all kinds of interesting molds growing out of this thing he has upstairs. Like he waits like 4 weeks and then he brings me down this moldy tray of dishes and silverware, and I infer that it's him. It's his. I wasn't there. I didn't see him do it, but I'm pretty goddamn sure it was him. So,
But
and it's the same thing. It's the same.
Is
You
he
could-
training to be a botanist?
I think he is, or he's trying to kill me. I don't know.
Yeah,
Or
but
maybe he's proving that
another
life
point.
actually does evolve out of nothing.
Yes, yeah, I think some shit evolved in his cups that I have never seen before in my life.
So
I
so
just-
basically, just to round the point off in a way, you could, for instance, take that inference that it's him, make a prediction from it.
Yep.
Say there won't be any dirty dishes in his room. Go up,
Yep.
have a look in his room to see if there are dirty dishes there, right? And
Verify.
that might be
Got
some kind of evidence to show
Right.
that actually what happened in the past is could be verified.
Right. And if I found his tray of dirty dishes up there full, and I have a tray down here, well, then I would have falsified it, right?
Exactly.
Falsified my theory. Yeah.
But if you find a dinosaur fossil, yeah, does that predict that when you walk round the corner you're going to bump into a dinosaur?
Ah, there you go.
See, now this is okay. Yeah.
Right.
You got
yeah,
me. You got me.
definitely. I don't know who paid for these jokes, but certainly wasn't my guy. That's for sure.
But I think
I'm
that you
deadly
brought up an
earnest.
important point.
Oh, okay.
Brian hit on an important point,
Good.
which is that you can't necessarily find a conclusion to every single experiment. I remember when
Right.
I was
Yeah,
again,
you
my
can't.
third grade science teacher. Got to tip my hat to that woman. She was very clever and did a very good job of teaching us science as far as I'm concerned, compared to most American teachers. All right. But that was one thing that she did was she gave us like this experiment, basically, that like this rundown of the experiment. It wasn't an actual experiment that we conducted in class, but then she was like, okay, like what is the conclusions that we can draw from the experiment? And the answer was we can't. The answer was we don't know. And she waited for the class to come to that conclusion and had all the students throw out, oh, well, we can conclude this. Oh, well, can we? Let's look at that. And broke it down. And it was like, that's still a valid test, even if you can't necessarily form a conclusion. The conclusion is we can't draw a conclusion.
Yeah.
That is some kind of answer, I suppose.
Yeah.
And let's face it, the creationists often say, well, I don't know how God did it. So they use the I don't know as well, by the
They
way.
have this thing
that is valid sometimes.
Yeah. They have this thing that's related to it, and I wish it would be called quantitative logic, but I think that name was already taken. But it's this idea that if you have some of something, you can have more of that thing, whether that's a process, whether that's modal, whether that's sand, or whether that's in a specific domain. So, and Christopher Hitchens had this argument years ago, people he said that he didn't believe that he'd never observed it, and there was this old stupid well, have you ever seen $1 million? And the thing is, with this type of, and I don't want to say quantitative logic because I know that's wrong, but you have a smaller component of it. And I think he used the example, have you ever seen a barrel of oil? You know, we've seen carts of oil, but it's just more of the same is what it is. So we could infer, because we've seen sand, or we can hold an amount of sand in our hand, that there could be beaches or that there could be deserts, right? Because it's just more of the same. It's just more of that. But what you have is when we can observe small steps of evolution that can happen inside of our life period, are inside from one generation to another, just accumulative mutations that can happen inside of a short span. We can say, well, we can infer that there's just more and more of that. But what we can't do is we don't have a metaphysical being that we have the first inference from. We don't have that grain of sand to say, hey, well, this is just more of this. If we could ever catch an angel or some metaphysical being, then we could have a basis to say, well, God is just more of that. But we don't even have, the baseline of that.
Right.
So we kind of have to go with this evolution thing because it is accumulative. It's just more of what's already going on.
Yeah, perfect.
I think you're looking for predicate logic. Is that the name you wanted? Predicate logic?
Sorry, my headset went out. What now?
Oh, predicate logic, is that the term you were looking for?
Yeah, I think that is the term. Yep, predicate logic.
Yeah. Okay, well,
So
speaking of
using that logic, sorry, I have to do my cremationalist thing. That's what you employed me for.
I was about to do that myself. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you employed me for it, so I'm going to do it.
Employed is doing a lot of lifting right there.
It is doing a lot of heavy lifting, yes. Okay, so you can infer the existence of unicorns because it's just more of animals.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it depends what your definition of a unicorn is, and B. I mean, basically that's it. Because like unicorns have a supernatural component, and that isn't more of the same, right? But if it's just a horse, right? Then I think most people
just a horse with a horn
hang on. Most people would agree that is possible. We just don't have any examples, and there have been no fossils, right? So there's no reason to think that a horse ever evolved a horn, right? Well, now, there are definitely different types of animals which would fit the description of an animal with a horn, because there are horned animals. So it's a possibility. But the point is
and
that
it's not called a unicorn, but there is a close relative of the horse that has a horn, and I forget what it's called.
A rhino?
Yeah. It's not. It's not. It's one of the ruminants.
It's like an Azak or
singular
like
horn, a
yeah.
unihorn. Are you talking about something that has a singular, a unihorn?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had to look into that.
It lives in Africa somewhere. I can't remember what it's called.
Okay, that's fine. We don't have the details, so let's not expand too much on that. Go ahead, Skeptic.
Evolutionary paths, though, generally take out this fight or flight. And if one is superior, like horses are a very fast running species. So as far as it being able to fight and being able to get away from any predator, it doesn't need both. It takes one path, and that's all it needs. I mean, a horse can get away from anything. It can outrun any of its predators that it would run into anyway. And it has great back kicking for any predators that would, jump it. So it's got a good path to not try to stand. Fighting like bulls and whatnot is it's a head-on kind of engagement.
Okay, and now you've mentioned sand there, Skeptic, a little earlier. And you mentioned sand, more of the same, so we can infer beaches, for instance, right? And if you were walking down a beach and you came across
Don't you fucking do
a stopwatch, you would infer that it's been designed, wouldn't you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Even I wouldn't use the watchmaker argument.
I know, but someone will. Someday, someone will. Can we just have a explanation of why? Well, I mean, if it looks designed, right? And you look at the trees, they look designed. So why not God did it?
Yeah.
Trees don't look designed.
This is a teleological argument. I mean, it's the only way you can go after this.
And the Azak the Azek is like a cryptid term for one species, one horned species. I looked it up. The actual word is Aurochs. Arachus is an
yes, the
extinct
auroch.
ancestor. Yeah, that had
Yes, the
single
auroch.
horn. Yep. So there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
okay.
I don't know what
Back
a
to the
design tree
teleological.
would look like.
Yeah, back to the
What would
teleological
a
argument.
if you designed a
Just
tree?
look,
what-
Mike, that's just an alien butt plug you've drawn there. That's not a tree.
I know. Yeah, I think
Anything's
I
a butt plug if you're brave enough.
Hey, you seen that meme
I'm
too?
trying to think. I'm trying to think of what would make me think that a tree is designed. I don't know. I suppose if it looked like this, like square, and it had a little hat on it, maybe.
Well, I think if we
And it
get to
had
the
some
teleological argument,
hinges.
I think you'll find there is an answer to the question you just asked. So, Skeptic, do you want to just dismantle the teleological argument for me?
Not really. Not
Oh.
really. Why do you keep throwing the heavy five on me?
Well, because you got philosophy in your title, right? Anybody that puts philosophy in the title,
I know, right?
is going to have an answer.
I wind up.
Go ahead.
I wound up covering this a little bit in my book. I wound up just giving brief explanations of the top 5 arguments, which one of them was the teleological. But I think that might have been the first one that I tackled in a book that I wrote. But no, the teleological. Well, first of all, this observation of it, this is something very different than what's accumulative. And I think we all know that in the evolutionary ladder, everything is a cumulative change. It's something that this is totally different than designing something. This isn't being designed. This is like snowflakes is a perfect example. We can look at a snowflake and say how complex a snowflake is. Did God design it on the way down? He designed the complexity of the snowflake and the diversity of it on its way down, or did systems wind up designing this because it went through different atmosphere and different pressures, and that water wind up settling and diffusing at the outer edges? And this is a process that wind up designing, if you will, that snowflake. And we have all of these very kind of complex things, whether we're talking about these pillars, whether you're doing giant pillars or we're doing other things that are being systemically created. And there's a lot of these little things. We have the I'm sorry, you hit me when I'm very unprepared on this subject. But sorry. This is something that is accumulative, and that's very different than it being designed.
Yes. Okay,
let me just tell
I'll let
you.
You get there. Let me just paraphrase what Skeptic just said.
Yeah.
So you're basically saying, look, evolution is a bottom-up process which builds on previous iterations in order to achieve its final result, even if that looks designed. Whereas design itself is agental design, shall we say, or axiological design is axiological explanations are done by agents and intention, and that leads to a different type of look for a design product.
Let me throw one little thing in there. That they have, if you have rule sets that you have to bounce against rule sets or frequencies that something has specific iterations, it's going to create patterns. So if you have any kind of parameter, let's say, and I know this is very abstract, but let's say you have dots bouncing around and they have the shape of a perimeter that those dots can bounce around. As you change the shape of that perimeter, you're going to change the pattern of what those dots bounce around to, because they're going to be based, that pattern is going to be based on whatever the shape is. So when you have rule sets and structures or frequencies, then you're going to get things. And I mentioned frequencies because they have this, what we call the pendulum wave. If y'all have never seen a YouTube video on it, it's a short video on them dropping like 15 pendulums at the same time. And you get all of these variations and patterns. And at one point they'll create what looks like a double helix, which is this 2-stranded inverted double helix. But this is all based off of, you have different varying lengths and they all have the same gravity, so you get patterns that are created in this just because you have rule sets.
Double helix, it doesn't always.
I just want to add an interesting observation.
Well, I'd like to go
on the pendulum thing,
Fabio.
Pendulum is a very quick point, but I've seen a very similar experiment with pendulums where they will synchronize. You start them off different timings, and they will eventually synchronize.
They absolutely will.
Okay.
God,
Fabio, you
God
were
does
going to
that.
say.
Yeah, I mean,
teleological argument. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let me just tell you why the old design thing sucks. And I take as an example the human body. No self-respecting engineer will ever put an amusement park close to a sewer.
Too right. Yeah.
Have you been to Disney?
Amen.
Yeah. Unless, of course, they were one in the same. They were both part of the same amusement park.
Let's not kink shame.
In which case, you know, homosexuality can be explained by nature, right? So there we go.
Really?
Just saying. That's an argument for why I think if God is the designer, he must be homosexual.
That's an argument for why you don't get laid. That's an argument.
Well, that's another
Yeah, I
argument.
agree with Fabio
There
on that
are
one.
quite a few of those, I'm afraid.
And God can't be a man either because testicles. I mean, you know.
So, skeptic philosophy, are you the philosopher that came to visit?
For the time being.
I'm not a philosopher. I am interested in skeptic and epistemological philosophy, which doesn't deal with moral philosophy and all of these other subjects. But I have a great interest in epistemological philosophy, and specifically philosophy that takes on a skeptical approach.
Oh, we should have a talk sometime.
Nice.
Because
would you count yourself?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike. We can do this after the show. You can set up a meet after the show.
I was going to mention Heidegger.
Okay. Would you consider yourself an empiricist?
Who?
I suppose. I mean, I don't mind the term materialist. I don't know about empiricist, but I don't mind getting labeled with materialist. Okay,
interesting. All right. Mike obviously wants to set up, so if you can put if you've got an email that he can email you at, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I was going to mention Heidegger. I think it was Heidegger that came up the ready to hand, basically. That as humans, because we have hands and we do things, we have this intention. We basically, a hammer to us, we perceive it as something that we can do something with, hammer with, right? And that goes to Paley's watch argument. When you see the watch and you think it's designed, okay, it's because you know a hell of a lot about what humans do with metal. If you didn't know anything about what humans do with metal, you'd be really, I don't know what you would think of the watch if you had absolutely no idea what metal is. If you were like a native that had no idea what metal was, no idea how to grind things or make gears or any of that, I don't know what you would think of a watch. But they keep using examples from things that we know a lot about, like watches and gears and metals and things like that. And that just doesn't work. And I wish they would stop doing that.
Yeah, thank you for getting back
to
that.
Something else.
Thank you for coming back to that argument. I appreciate that.
Hey, I'll give you an even better
also, let me just say this then. So also, as a consequence, right, that if they think that the watch is designed by an agent, then you trace that back, and by their own logic, of course, we are designed by their agent, and in which case, so is the sand, so are the trees, so are the animals, so is the planet, so is the universe, all designed by their agent. And therefore, there is no way to distinguish. There's no way they can distinguish between what is designed as a watch and what is designed as the sand. Right? So they have no examples to have the inference that they look at a watch and go, well, that's designed by an agent. They don't have any examples because everything is designed by their God. So
and they have no example. They have no example of an oak tree maker other than an acorn, right?
So Bertrand Russell
deal
with the table. Did y'all? I don't know if y'all know about Bertrand Russell's table. The problem of philosophy, chapter 2. He talks about the table, and he says, what color is the table? What's the shape of the table? And everything's based on information that let's say the table's a round table, and they see the table and they say, well, it's a circle. well, are you seeing the circle from your angle? And the answer is always no. They're seeing an oval, but they're inferring that it's a circle because they're adding what they know about geometrics and about distance, and they're saying, okay, it's a circle. But then when he asks what color the table is, let's say this is a red table, they might say that it's a red table. Well, are you seeing all red, or are you seeing other colors? And then they'll, oh yeah, well, I'm seeing other colors. You know, where the light hits it, it might be bright white. You might have a shiny spot. It's gray underneath it. Of course, it has all these colors, but that they know that it's red because they know how light interacts with everything. But they're even saying that it's red based off of the top, because we use whatever's most pragmatic to us to describe things. So the top of a table is most pragmatic to us. So this is what we identify. The circle is based on the top, and the color is based on the top because this is the most pragmatic angle. We do it with refrigerators and other objects. Well, the front of the refrigerator, as far as a geometric shape, there is no front of the refrigerator, but we identify the front and the top and these different shapes based on what's most pragmatic and most useful to how we perceive the shape. So that I was mentioning that about the hammer.
And Mike's glad to hear that you used the color red. You guys could have a great conversation about the color red.
The red kitty qualia cup.
I like the I think it was in chapter 2 as well, where he talked about because he was talking about transformations, mathematical transformations, right?
Yeah.
Or
well, he didn't use a red table, and I don't think he used a round one. I think he used a square one. I wrote about it, and I used a round one, and I think I was using the color red and whatnot.
Right.
In the explanation.
Well, what I like about that, his particular thing, is that he also then described numbering a parade of soldiers, right? And having you can invert those soldiers in any geometrical way, and still they remain the relationship between the soldiers remains the same. Right, which is an example, therefore, of objective sense data.
What you mean? They're all cousins?
No, the relationship. So 1 is next to 2 always. Doesn't matter how you make the transformation. 1 is always next to 2. It provided the transformation is a universal transformation.
Brian went right back to Kentucky.
Unlike the table, where you can turn the table and transform it in a different geometrical pattern, and you get a different shape, right? And that shows that the sense data is changing, right? So but you cannot. That doesn't occur with this particular pattern of the soldiers being numbered. Right, because they always remain in the same pattern. Right, they may become elongated or stretched or whatever, but the actual relationship between the elements is always the same. And that's a quirk of mathematics or geometrical mathematics. But it has some relevance to what we see. Go ahead.
Chapter 2 of which book?
Problems of Western Philosophy.
The problem of philosophy.
Problems of philosophy. Oh, okay.
Is it Western philosophy or just?
No,
philosophy?
I think you're talking about a different book.
Problems
with the soldiers.
Oh, is it?
Yep, I was talking about the problem of philosophy. I believe is the name of it. I don't remember chapter 2 talking about that. I remember him talking about being in a room, seeing the surface of the table.
It could have been chapter 3 then. I don't know.
I'm
pretty sure it is that book. But anyway.
I missed exactly what we're talking about, but I heard problem with philosophy, and I was about to say continental.
Okay, yeah, that is a problem as far as I'm concerned.
The background going.
It's
you see my philosophy?
It is a fantastic book, and Mike, I definitely think you should read it. It's a short book as well. It's not a big long book.
Which one?
The Problem of Philosophy. I think it's probably the best introductory book these days to philosophy, to epistemology anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you should read it, Speed.
Yeah,
I probably own it, but I haven't read it.
I think I've spoken to you about it before, I'm sure, because it's one of my favorites. But anyway, there you go.
Sounds
okay,
good. I
think we're done with the topic. I think we've been through. I've given 17 different creationist arguments, and I think all of them have been answered in some way. Although
I won most of mine.
Did you really? Thank you. Although really, I really think that I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. I'm just going to throw that out there. As
You had
more
to
of
throw
a,
Frank out
That's
there.
good.
Yeah, I gotta
Jeez.
throw
Now I got
Frank
a
out
bad
there.
taste in my mouth.
at the end. Yeah, why not? What's wrong with Frank? If I could sit in Frank's lap, I'd slap him in the face. That's what I would say. So let's go around the panel and get our goodbyes and final comments. If you've got anything you want to share, please do. So start with you, Elle, please. If I may start with you, ladies first.
If you want. Sorry, there's just a lot of background noise going on. I don't know who has their TV on, but yeah. Evolution. I believe it. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Elle. Really
Bravissimo.
appreciate you being so succinct. I think we're going to go to Serb next, one of our cremationists. Thank you very much for playing the part.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I even got some of the scientisms priests to agree with me.
Great, thank
So-
you.
Yeah, I'm a
that's all I'm
scientism priest.
Yeah, scientism. I love that.
I had to work to get that word out. It's just so stupid.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
two for us.
I have heard it in a
You
TV
found a spot to
debate
put it in, though.
in the UK. Yeah, it was perfect as well. Perfect placement. So that's great. Over to you, Skeptic, if I may. Go to you next.
I didn't
Evolution,
know.
is it a fact? Do you believe it?
Yeah, I mean, I
Is it
believe
just
it.
faith?
I believe it. I'm slow to say fact. I mean, there's two different branches. I look at evolution. I think there's the what do you call it? What's the two primary names? Macroevolution versus microevolution. Microevolution, I think, is an established fact. I think we can see that, like with the lizard on the island and whatnot. What's the pepper moths? These kind of things. I think that's an observable thing. So as far as the other, I think it's an excellent theory and it's solid as it comes. And we have at least an inference. So yeah, fully in on
three
that.
for us.
Okay, thank you very much. Dave, over to you.
I think evolution is a bunch of boogeyman nonsense. If you ask creationists, they will agree with almost every mechanism behind evolution, and then they'll say it's not evolution. So it's just something to pander to people that don't know any better. And if you want to hear more from me and a lot of folks here, we gather every Saturday for Saturday Night at the Atheist on my channel. We hope you join us.
Excellent. I was going to say something really intelligent. Unfortunately, I'm an idiot. So that's that done. Mike, over to you.
I get real passionate about this. I apologize for that.
Not at all. That's why I
No.
wanted you on so badly, Mike, because you are.
Okay, I just
passionate about it.
want to say, like, when I think about do I believe in evolution, it always confuses me because I'm not sure if I would be working as hard to figure out how the liver evolved if I just believe something, right? So I mean, it's like a work in progress, and it just offends me to ask that question, whether or not you believe in something, or because it's something that I work on every day, and I think if I just knew that evolution was true, I wouldn't work on it as hard. I don't know. So anyway, it's confusing. Belief, facts, all these goddamn suitcase words we carry around don't have anything to do with what I do every day.
Yeah,
So
fair
does that
enough.
mean you're in my camp or the other camp?
I'm not in a camp. I'm
Okay.
just busy.
So
busy learning.
All right.
Busy learning.
Okay.
Learning and
not their
figuring.
camp.
Right?
Okay.
He's
so
looking at the
four
blueprint,
for us,
man.
Yeah,
four for us and one abstention. Okay.
looking at the whiteboard. We're not counting. We're not.
I
Counting.
am.
Oh, okay. Over to you, Brian. Count away.
Apparently, Brian is.
Over to you,
is-
Brian. Count away.
Is believe evolution a fact? No, evolution is not a fact per se, as I think we've established.
Which one?
Hey?
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
one?
that-
I mean, there are two primary branches. I do think that it should be distinguished, whether it's
Well,
micro
primarily
or
we've been
Darwinian
talking
level.
about-
Yeah.
We've been talking about macroevolution,
Okay.
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evolution of the liver.
New species. Yep.
Yeah, new species, trees, mushrooms, Yeah,
Protein.
it's
The size of
macroevolution.
trees. The size of trees, Mike. Mushrooms the size of trees.
It's
Oh, yes.
macroevolution. Is it a fact? No. Are there
theory.
facts underneath it? Plenty. But evolution itself is a theory, as I think we have established.
Yeah.
It's a good
I
working
disagree.
theory, but
I
it's a
don't think
theory.
that's established. Yeah, I disagree, but never mind. That's fine. You're
Well,
entitled to your
so-
thing. Don't say
so-
we when I disagree. That's all I'm saying.
Well, the art of debate is to get the numbers on your side. That's why I've been counting.
Okay,
Yeah.
count away.
All right. So far we've got
What the hell?
believers in evolution, and we've established that it's in conversation.
Yeah.
The vast majority the consensus seems to be that it's a theory built on facts. So it per se is not a fact. Yeah.
That's your opinion.
And
yes.
if you want to hear more of me and my inane ramblings,
Yeah.
then tune into Wolfman Radio tomorrow night at midnight UK time, and I'll play
Wolfman Radio?
lot. Yeah, I'll play a lot of good tunes as well.
Fantastic. And the link for that, of course, as always, is in the
Is
chat.
wolfmanradio.com.
No, I haven't finished the
.co.uk.
sentence. The link for that is in the description of
Oh, is
this
it?
video.
Is it?
So you can just go straight there and click on it and get to
Nice.
Brian's fantastic tunes and dulcet tones, which make the whole thing worth listening to, the intros,
Yes.
etc.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I used to be known as the voice of God, but for some reason I've now
Yeah.
been demoted to Whispering Long John. So I don't know.
Okay, let's hope it doesn't get any shorter than that. Okay,
Yeah.
over to you, Fabio. Over to you, Fabio.
Well,
For pretty much our outro. So thank you.
yeah. Let me finish my whiskey first, because. Well, I mean, I've got to admit that mostly thanks to Simons, I got to concede. I mean, I'm a totally convert. You know, I mean, it has to be an intelligent design. I would put only a caveat on that. It has to be a very lazy one. Because he put all the marsupials in Australia, and basically he had one design for the bone structure of a human hand, and used that for a bat's wing and a seal's flipper. So it's got to be a really lazy one. But yeah, there is no other explanation. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. I'd also add, he's got 6 fingers. Brian's saying he's got 6 fingers if he includes both thumbs. I don't know. Maybe. And there is Mike, just to bring this up at the end when I shouldn't, because we're trying to do an outro. There is this thing of convergence, right? Evolutionary convergence.
Yep.
Could you just give us a quick say on that? Because sometimes when they go,
Bat wings.
but God designed everything, so of course it's all going to be the same. But there is, in fact, an explanation for that as well.
Bat wings and bird wings.
Mm-hmm.
God could have just put feathered wings on those mice, but I don't know.
There you go.
But anyway, that's an example of convergent evolution. It's just that there's an ecosystem, there's a problem out there flying, and there are a number of ways to solve it, and a couple of them have popped up. Not a big surprise. I mean, natural selection is going to poke around and find a solution. But
and it's going to be
if you found a mouse, if you found a mammal with bird wings, then evolution might get faulty. I don't know.
Yeah.
Seeing as you brought up a new topic, I insist on having my cremationist response rebuttal.
Oh
to
no!
Please
and that is the eye has evolved numerous times.
Yep.
Yes.
Explain that.
Yeah.
Same problem.
Darwin said he.
Same problem, exactly.
There's no best
I will just say
design.
this, then. I will just say this, which is what I kind of wanted to end on, which is, of course, evolution itself is a biological science, And that, of course, is constrained by the chemistry and chemistry science, and that in itself is constrained by the physics science. So, of course, convergence is a natural thing, given that the evolution is all happening on one planet, which is all one physical system. So there we go.
And the Flintstones was a documentary.
And the
Oh,
Flintstones
come
was a
on.
documentary. Thank